Uh, yeah, I can, sure. Currently I'm in space on the XZ core, so.
And there we go. All right, my room's a freaking mess. So hey guys, real quick here. Today is going to be basically a dev talk for Lenny. It's going to give the ability to answer questions, maybe bring in some information on content that isn't necessarily well defined yet. I think would be a good way to say it. As an example, you can see me on this screen here. I'm already staring at an XL core, which I really like, by the way. I have 40 of these on order. I think I almost broke my favorite factory person getting those ordered. I also have a warp beginning coming. Okay,
Yeah,
so
the static one are quite easy to create, but the dynamic and space are it's a bit
yeah, I
bigger
asked him for 80
time.
space, and that was where it was like he kind of like was like, I was like, don't worry, I'm willing to wait. I just, what's it gonna take? So this is my base right now that I am standing on. I will be starting questions here soon, in case you guys have questions. But first, we're going to hand it to Lenny, I believe. And if he wants to put some information up there on what he wants to talk about, because I know he had some plans for today for talking, and then we'll go from there. Also,
Yeah, sure.
sorry about the twice subscriber music. I don't know why it does it, and I don't know how to make it stop. I'm not the world's greatest streamer yet. Working on it. Alright, Lenny, what do you got for us? You're not streaming yet.
So
Okay.
yeah, I'm gonna create.
Alright. Oh, I made these in so unnecessarily pretty. Alright.
So that's an example of
Pop
fixed
you out.
core
Okay. Now you're live.
made by Kylands. Um, I will just I'm refueling it.
Alright.
This thing is very.
Now, is this a dynamic, though?
That's a dynamic core.
Oh, cool. Oh, this is like your dynamic elevator or something?
That's a L elevator, right?
Okay.
This is a XL core. It's
What
a
is
little
that,
bit
like a
bigger.
landing pad on top of there?
So it has a huge landing pad. So it has been designed for wreck hunting. So
Oh, okay.
you can like dock ship on it, and then you can dismantle while you are flying to the next one.
Okay.
And I really like the design. It's a
I do
clean
actually have a
design.
quick question about that. When you're using a
Yeah,
ship like this and you're using the wrecking system, when you maneuver the construct, you have to put your own core in there temporarily, right? Until you fully dismantle it?
yes, yes, you have to. Yeah,
Okay. And as soon as you do
and
that, I'm assuming that wreck disappears.
so it's when you step on the wreck that the wreck go out of the
So even
list
though
of
you
wreck.
put it on this platform you've built.
Yeah, but you don't have necessarily have to claim it or anything. When you stand on the ship on the
Oh,
wreck,
okay.
then the wreck is considered as claimed, and
Okay.
it's still a wreck, but it's like claimed by you, so it's disappear from the list of wreck, and it open the
It's very
possibility
nice
to another
fossil.
one to yeah, it's a really nice design.
Okay.
And so each time you step on a wreck, you claim it, and then every like 10 to 20 minutes later, there is a check on the sector that will check if there is like enough wreck on the sector to spawn, and if there is not enough, then the system is spawning as
Okay.
many as needed.
All right.
So yeah, it works to stand on rec, not just fly by,
Now,
because
what
if you
kind
just
of
fly by,
real quick here on this XL core you're using, this dynamic, do you have the like CPU, GPU stats you have? And then what kind of
um,
system are you using?
so I'm on 4070, but the XL so XL core doesn't really change much about like in terms of performance. Um, you have to think about like the quantity of voxel you are rendering, and if you are like, of course it's more like a more than a L core, right? Because you have much more voxel in it, but they are not deforming because you are not like shooting at it or doing stuff like that. So in terms of
Okay.
performance, when you fly it, um, you don't have any issue with like yeah, render issue. It will be more like if you, but that's not necessarily like the XL core. The issue is like the collision system of NQ.
Yeah.
So because this ship is like, I think like empty like that. Like, I mean, I have fuel on it. It must be like something like 8 to 9 kiloton. I can check, but that's, yeah,
Okay.
we are close to 8 kiloton. So the thing is, if you have a L core, and people know that, if you have a L core that is that weight 8 kiloton, um, you will have some trouble to land it on the planet.
Yeah.
Uh, so here with the XL core, that's the same logic, and because it's big, then you you are more or less precise when you land, right?
Yeah,
So
you
there
have
is
to
a
be
huge
more
chance that you,
careful.
yeah. So I mean, with XL Core, I will not advise to have a hybrid ship. You can still have a hybrid ship, but you need to be
Hey,
really careful
Valencia.
when you land.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
but
quick
but
word
other
on
than that, like in space, on space, it's like it's crazy good. I mean,
it's crazy good.
yeah,
All right.
yeah,
I do know, for those of you who don't know, I did a bunch of testing on the main server. Like I literally went for like 3 weeks doing this. And what I did was I went through all of my structures since I sold a lot of pads, a lot of ships on the main server, stuff like that. And I learned what lagged you and what didn't, and it seems to apply here as well in these XL cores. So one of the primary causes of lag actually isn't the voxels you're seeing. It's what's behind them. So if you leave a bunch of empty spaces in a build, say like if you go behind your walls, right, where those slants are, if that's
hmm
not filled in, and it doesn't need to be the same material used on the outside, so if you want to use something heavy like gold, that's fine. You just need to core it with something like, say, carbon fiber, which is stupidly light. You need to fill that void, because if you don't fill it or smooth it, you're loading like, if there's a bunch of triangle shapes behind there, right? Like if you create a
yeah,
45 on 45-degree angle and you don't fill behind there, you now have like 1,000 different little angles that the game's trying to still render, because that's still an empty space.
yeah, that's true. And you have also the shadow,
Yeah, the
because
shadows, all
yeah, the
that stuff.
shadows, yeah, the shadow are like really
Right in
painful.
front of you.
They can.
Okay. Yeah,
and
no.
and and so you see the voxel complexity.
It looks pretty
You can go
high
very, yeah,
for your wrecker here, but I imagine it loads pretty well if you followed the idea of keeping the inside angles that you don't
yeah,
see are relatively filled.
yeah. So that's you can make a, I mean, maybe not a M core, but you can make a L core that is very laggy,
Yes,
and
very easily.
you can make a XL core very laggy also, or you can make a XL core
It's
that
just a
is
larger space with more pot.
yeah,
Like, so if you have an XS with some laggy bits on it, if you translate that into an XL with the same amount of used room, like
yeah,
60% or whatever, that just jumps in complexity like crazy. It's
exactly,
such a
yeah,
much huger,
exactly, yeah.
it's much a larger volume.
hmm
Okay.
and so Of course, like when the difference I would say when you
Sorry for the
load a XL
sniffles.
core or multiple, because XL core is like 8 L core, right? So I remember when I was loading the Statue of Liberty, which
Okay.
was 50 L core.
Oh wow.
Of course, when you load 50 L core, you cannot ask to load them instantly,
No.
just because it's a lot of rendering for your clients and it's a lot of data you have to get from the server.
You still have to cache it the first time.
Yeah, exactly. So here it's a little bit the same. Of course, if you have a base with like 20 XL core, it's the same as if you have a base with yeah, also 20, it would be time 8. Certainly less than time 8, but it would be like
Okay.
100 L core, right? Um,
Okay.
so yes, you will it will take some time to render, but once it's rendered, um, it doesn't change much
No.
in term. And I know like Ori has a factory in a Excel core, and it's working fine. It's just, of course, you
Hi,
have
Ori, by the way.
a lot of elements in it. So when you load it, it takes some time to load because you have a lot of
I
elements.
can say with my testing I did, the elements are actually rather interesting. So I can say two things to that from my personal testing and like
Hmm.
to verify and back up here. One of the things was with elements, it didn't actually care if I had 20 L cores down. It cared not like if I had, let's say, one L core with 3,000 elements on it. During my test, that one core caused me a ton of lag. What's up, Hinky? And the if I had like say 20 L cores with only 500 parts on them each, that was still more than the 3,000 elements, but I loaded much better. I didn't have
Yeah,
nearly as many load issues, so it was rather interesting. Now in build mode, you're still rendering potential. So the reason you see his ship right now, this XL ship, in such high detail, even though he's not in build mode, well, now he is. So if
yeah,
you have any messed up areas, stuff like that, or highly defined areas, like right here, you can kind of see some voxel, just a slight voxel kind of screw up a little bit. That's
yeah,
because it's rendering potential. It's rendering the ability to build. So
yeah, exactly.
it keeps like see right here. This is actually a great
Yeah, we see it.
example.
Yeah,
So, but if he goes out of build mode, now it's just a loaded structure. You're not modifying anything. So as soon as it's done loading here, it goes right back to a normal structure. Now
yeah,
on an
you're
XL
totally
core,
right.
that will be much more pronounced. A lot of this is just increasing from size, type, and all of that. Also, hello, poet. Um, and thank you. Sorry for the double notice of following. I don't know how to turn it off. I'm not the world's greatest streamer. Sorry. I'll fix it eventually. But yeah, on these XO cores, it's most of the problems you see are personified problems. There's still problems we have on an XS, on small, medium to large. They're just more in there when you go to an XL.
Yeah, and the thing is, on the XL core, there is some issue.
I
Of
joy.
course, it's not like completely perfect, but the thing is, you have a possibility to have a much bigger building area, so it open a lot of freedom, especially with static core and space station. So you can like have a fuel station that is really separate from your factory, but still be in your factory. This is something we were like missing in DU, where you are like bound to have a factory, then put another factory nearby. Now with the XL core, you can make
One.
multiple small factory or split your factory in multiple space and decorate them. That
Okay.
what you could not really do. Like you with the L core, you are a little bit limited.
Yeah, you don't have as much distance. Say if you want to create, you're talking like if I created a space structure with a bunch of cylinders as an example. Also, hello, Data. He says your ship is awesome. I built mine a week ago or so.
Yeah, so
Nice.
that's not my ship. It's Killian's ship.
Oh, this is
He's
someone
really
else's
nice.
build. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry, I want to
It's
equate it to the right person. It's a nicely done ship. I do like
yeah,
it. It
it's a
feels
really.
very, what's the right word? Barge-like, I think is the right word.
Mhm.
Just space barge. It's a space barge.
Yeah. I mean, we have a few design. I think there is also Serenity that have they have he has done a hybrid ship, but most of
Okay.
the XL dynamic I have seen, they are not looking all like that, but they are huge
Yeah,
barge because
I've got a
there
couple
is
plans,
that's the
but
point. Yeah, that's the point to make it to make a XL core. But I
okay.
can see like some of the ship from our sci-fi series that could be done with XL core.
Yeah,
And
I have several builds planned actually.
yeah,
Like for XL
yeah,
cores, just so people know, I live on Jago in TTV at the moment, and I'm planning a 40 plus core XL static build on the surface of the water to build an Atlantis like structure. I've already claimed the land, bought most of the cores I need, now I'm just building up material. But project will be starting soon.
yeah, that would be
Um,
nice.
just as an example, right? And I'm building it with everything I've learned. So if you guys do have questions about how to get something to load better, to get it to work properly, by all means ask, right? There's no I don't really believe there's such a thing as a stupid question. I believe the stupid question is probably the one you don't ask.
Yeah,
Yes, I
I'm
did
agree
say
with you.
40 poet. I did say 40. I did say 40. I'm very bad at building something small. Ethan here is great with tiny structures. I can't really do that. I'm not equipped that way for some reason. I'm much better if the structure is just obscenely large. Not sure why. Just something I do. And you don't seem to
And
have
what?
any loading issues next to it using another ship either. So
No.
again, I think it's just personified issue because it's like your trailer sway on a trailer for hauling it with a trailer, right? Like you have a small trailer, not that bad, until you get up to a large trailer where you have to really be picky about where you put the weight in the trailer so it doesn't sway off the side of the road for you and drag your truck on the road, on this ditch.
Yeah, true, exactly. And I think you can have some issue like if you're working with elements, of course, when you link element from one side to the other side of your XL core, of course you will have some like loading because the element is not loaded like you cannot. I mean your link tool will not reach it. So you have to link element and then move them if you want to link from one side to the other side of your XL core. But that's already something on the L core. So it's not like
Yeah, it's not new, it's just
yeah,
larger.
it's just yeah, it's exaggerated on the XL core. But it's something we have already on the L core.
Okay.
That's why my factory I have like everyone is joking about, but I have my container in middle of my factory that stand there because that's I have moved it there so I can move them
So is your
further.
factory on an XL static core then?
No, it's on. I'm going to it now. It's on 8 L core, so it's the size of a XL core, but we didn't
Okay.
add the XL core at that moment. If we add the XL core, I will have put it
Ah,
on the
okay,
XL
so that
core.
was done pre XL core to the server.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And yeah, because the XL core have needed a few adjustment on the server to, so it's not like out of the box that you can have XL core. You need a few adjustment on the server, so you can have a very detailed XL core because if you don't do all those adjustment and some improvement on the server, then you your XL core will not render out of bin mode.
By the way, if you guys are wondering, I'm holding my cat because otherwise she'd be going crazy at the moment. She's demanding slight attention. This is my cat, by the way. This is Althea. Althea, say hi. Nope, she's not gonna do it. She is a cat. Let's be fair. You ready to get down? Alright, push down. You got the attention you asked for. Sorry. Ugh.
So yeah, that was the XL core. So this is typically a structure. I can make a tour of it, and you see that we had that issue already on live where not all the elements are loading if you are close to multiple construct. That's something.
Yeah. In my testing, like I said, everything loaded perfectly as long in if I had a lot of cores or even just one core, it didn't seem to matter how many cores I had for the element load because I
Yep.
was monitoring my CPU usage, my performance on the task manager, every piece of data point I could get. It didn't seem to care as long as my element count was under a certain number per core. It didn't care about how many cores there were. It cared about how many elements there were on each individual core. So like if I
Yeah.
wanted 4,000 elements, I needed to put it down enough cores to have 4,000 elements, and they wouldn't do what your factory is doing where it kind of loads some
Yeah.
stuff and some stuff disappears. It's still
So
technically there, it's just not loading right.
yeah, exactly. So one of the thing is there is two different in tech. It's a little bit technical, but there is two different mesh that NQ is using. There is the dynamic mesh and the static mesh.
Okay.
And on the factory here, all the industry is on dynamic mesh because you have animation on it. And like containers, screen, hub, all of those, they are on static mesh. And the static mesh are loading really, really fast, and the dynamic take a long time. I did a test by replacing all the mesh of the all of the industry, and this factory that take 30 seconds to load was taking 8 seconds, 8 to 10 seconds.
Okay.
So it's really a drastic improvement, and the only difference is you will not have like the arm of the 3D printer that will move.
Okay.
Uh, but I mean, most of the time you don't really care. So
No.
that make a huge difference. And also I have like improved. There is a bug still. I have tried to ask Berklo if he could fix that, but he has not answered yet. Um, so I have improved the way elements are loading in construct. Why? Because
Okay.
when you go into your factory,
And
the
this
first
is
thing you
live
want.
testing, right? This isn't something that's only on the test server at the moment.
No, that's live here.
That's live
But
changes. Okay.
yeah, so what I'm doing is
Takes me back to my
I'm
PM.
loading element by chunk. So I'm loading all the container, screen, elevator, um, I mean all the things you want to have first. So when you load a construct, normally that's what is going on. It's you have normally all the screen, hub, and everything that is loaded first. One
Okay.
of the bug we have is the clients, if you have already loaded the construct, is reverting the order. So instead of loading,
So question here, if they delete
following,
their
yeah,
cache, does that if they delete their
yes.
cache, does that fix that issue or
I mean, it will fix for the first loading.
okay.
So if I clear my cache, I come here, the construct will load all the screen and the hub and the elevator, which is the thing you want into a factory. That's the first thing you want in a factory.
Yeah.
And then all the element like assembly line, it's really rare that they go on your assembly line. And if they take a little bit more time to load, it's not an issue.
Val, I asked you a question in Discord if you didn't see it. Sorry, continue. I'm handling questions
And
in the
so
background.
so that's typically I have tried to improve the way elements are loaded, and you have that into ships also. I have
Okay.
tried to improve the way elements are loaded in ships, so we have less lag on big ship. Of course, on small ship it doesn't really matter much,
Crazy
but on
Hinky
big ship,
says that counts on a factory, yes, but not on a ship.
for what?
I'm assuming you mean for the loading, Crazy? Question mark? Or what are you specifically referring to there? The loading order, yes.
So the loading order also goes for ship, but it's just that you have less different uh, elements.
Okay.
So like um, one of the issue you could have is that the programming board is loading after some elements, or the programming board is using elements that are not loaded. So I tried to fix that. Um,
Oh, I see what you're
so
saying. So if you have like a script running or something's
yeah,
linked up to perform a function and it doesn't load in the right order, that function can also technically break for a little bit.
exactly. So that's
Okay.
that's
Just so
so
I
technically
understand
it's
up here.
yeah. So technically it's already in place. It's just that because the client is not following the order of loading I have set up, then it's working partially.
Okay.
And this is like typical. This is 8 L core, and I have tested by deploying that as a XL core and check the difference of performance between both of them, and there is no performance, like no no change
That is a very
in
pretty factory, by
RAM.
the way, on the outside. Not on the inside. I get afraid when I
Yeah.
see all that. I'm like, oh boy, that's in my org. Falfadet very much likes that stuff, and I remember Dot Hack super loving his what is that called? Spreadsheets. Me,
Mhm.
I like to build things. I get afraid when I see that much factory. It's like, bro, I'm leaving. I'm out. It's not my realm. I know where I sit, and I do not sit in the fact. I sit in I can make voxels, I can make fuel, and I can make repair material, but that's about my limit, right? Like before my brain starts to go, okay, tired now. Valencia has a question here. She wants us to wants you to talk about schematics and how easy they are. I was waiting until we were done with that part of the topic first. She messaged me.
Yeah, sure. We can talk about that.
All right.
So this is Ori factory. Hello Ori.
Hi, Ori. She's probably
So this
standing
is
there watching the stream.
this is typically a XL core, right?
Okay.
And you've seen I have like jumped out of VR, and I mean, yes, it took a little bit to load, but it's not like painful.
No, it didn't seem any
And
different than loading into say my store on the live server, which was like
yeah,
50 freaking L cores.
yeah. So I mean, it will take some time, but if you see they have done an awesome job.
Yeah, she redid that
Uh,
hallway kit. It's freaking beautiful.
yeah, and you have a lot of detail, so you can really go pretty high on detail on the
Get
Excel
off my
core. There
land,
is like
lol. She's emulating the grumpy grandpa. Get off my grass. Sorry, we're borrowing you for demonstration.
and
No,
yeah,
yeah,
this is
it
the
seems to
really
load
really
just fine.
beautiful. Yeah, this is a really beautiful factory, and you see like there's if I go
Yeah, you're
further,
loading there.
you see the screen that are like not loading, and they load when you come close. That's something normal. That's something that NQ has like put, and it was because of the big factory with all the screens that were like on
Okay.
each industry. People put screen on each industry, and that was adding so much lag that they did this trick that screen unload when you go little bit further. So
Okay.
this is
So that's for loading
completely,
purposes.
yeah, that's completely
That's
normal.
intentional. Okay.
Yeah, I'm locked outside.
You're stuck.
But yeah,
They
so
claimed
Excel
you.
core are working really well. We have not tested like Android Excel core to see what Android Excel core will do. But I mean,
Okay.
I they will certainly add a lot of loading because it's Android Excel core.
Now, when the screens are loading, like you were saying back there, does that
Yeah,
affect the scripting, or is the element still technically there? It's just not rendering.
yeah. so it's just not rendering. It doesn't
Okay,
affect
so it doesn't affect the
the script.
scripts.
Yeah, it
Okay.
doesn't affect the script. One of the issue I'm trying to solve, and for now I have not found a good way of doing it, is I want to be able to force the loading of the element that are connected to a script that is running. That is a long sentence, but you have a script that is running, and the issue we have now is if you go, I don't know, like 500 meter,
Yeah.
the script will still run, but if you have like an industry link to it, or I don't know, like a emitter, then it will not work because the element is unload due to the distance.
Yeah.
And what I want to do is to force, and I don't know if I can do that because it might be only client side, but
I remember them talking about this during the live server. One of the issues that people talked about a lot was the player's presence or the idea of the player somehow in the world causes nearby load somehow with complicated stuff like that. And if you don't have nearby load, a lot of that stuff shuts down.
yeah, yeah, exactly. So that's the issue is, and but it could be resolved, like because you could like load only the element that are linked to a programming board,
Okay.
and you could put a limit if really there is like some sort of
They did a bang up job on this place. Where your guys'
yeah,
place
yeah,
is rather pretty. I liked it.
it's crazy.
But it's better. So one of my pet peeves actually on the main servers, I'd run across a lot of massive bases, but they were just flat floors and some buildings or no organization. I like how this is themed. It's you've got an identical building, and then the buildings, while they may not be exactly the same, they are similar, right? So it kind of feels
Yes,
like a natural flow of structure. And then they've got the little
yes,
structures in and out, just like you'd find in like a proper small city or something.
yeah,
It
totally,
just it
yeah,
feels
totally.
better. Also, that image is
That's
really cool.
yeah,
That face back there.
yeah,
It's what every guy hopes they look like when they're like, "Yeah, me scar, me tough, wavy hair." No. You know what I'm
yeah.
talking
So, but
about? PS1 days. Cool looking characters.
so yeah, so that was a little bit like about like XL Core and what is it opening, and of course there is like the space one,
Oh,
and
nice.
I don't know like if I have like an example of people that have done a huge. I think ODY has done, but they have used mainly L Core, maybe one or two XL Core,
Okay.
because like they are very like the space core are very expensive. It's tier 5, and
Yeah,
they take some time to craft, so they are expensive.
mine are going
And
to
in
be
terms of
pretty expensive. It's actually one
yeah,
of the reasons why I'm starting with the ground structure first. Then, as I make more money in the game, I will begin to either pay for or produce the XL Space Course. That's going to be
so
rough, though.
yeah, Valencia wanted me to talk about like
Schematics, yes.
schematics. So schematics is something that NQ has put in the
What
game into
is. Oh, I
two
see what you
different
did.
way, and I mean they are like not perfect, right? It's really not a perfect system.
No, I
Um,
like the master system just for personal preference, right? Real
yes,
quick here. I like the master system. So one of the intentions that always I think irritated a lot of players about DU in general was they kept using the words we want to emulate what it would be like in the future for actual real life. And I was like, well, it's a machine with a storage stick in it, essentially. Why does the storage
yeah,
stick get erased? I'm just really curious, right? Like that doesn't make any sense. I don't just I intentionally have to delete data off my PC. That part bugged
yeah.
me. But yeah.
So yeah, so one of the reason why we have still schematics is because it's the only really, I mean, that's the only way we have to drain a little bit quanta out of the game currently.
Yeah.
Um, um, yeah, there is like we don't want to put tax on tiles, which is what NQ did because it put a lot of pressure on player.
Yeah, I know
Um,
quite a few who left when they were like, I pay taxes in real life. I'm not paying
yeah,
them in a
exactly.
game.
So
Wait, does that mean I
there's
can hypothetically retroactively get my tiles back?
so the thing is there is still a small tax on tiles, but it's just really like it's 100 every week, and because you can sell or to bots, you can pay very easily that tax, and so the schematics is a little bit the only way we have to remove a little bit of quanta, and you don't if you don't want to like have to deal with schematics, you can still like buy part from people that are okay to deal with schematics.
Yeah.
um, and I have we have tried to make it so because we have the rules to have no alts into the into TV. um, we have tried to change the game rules or game settings so you don't need alts. And one of the reasons why people add alts was to research schematics.
It was
So
either researching schematics or me specifically, it was about the tile count and the core count because I was a builder and just having my own build area was what 100 cores or some shit for 100 L cores. It was intense. And just that one portion, I had to have 4 accounts just for tiles
yeah,
and cores. I didn't. Yeah, it makes sense though for the factory people though why they would have multiple. I'll ask your question here in just a minute. Sorry.
yeah.
Keep.
So
Yeah.
so so the thing. So we have not changed the price on schematics. One of the first reason was to so people could use all the tool to calculate the price on
Okay.
how much it costs to produce something, and all the tools were like configured with NQ price of schematics. That was the first reason, very like basic reason, and what we did is we have increased the speed you are researching schematics. So you
Okay.
researching like 3 times faster than on on the MMO, and you can research 5 more. So instead of 10, you can research 15. And
Yeah.
then
Okay.
I have like added a few quality of life. So the retrieve all button. This is something that
Calibration charges too. Yeah. Sorry, I'm listening. I'm
this
reading chat too.
yeah. So retrieve all. That's typically something that was a
That doesn't
pain when
work
you
very
have to.
well for me.
Really?
Yeah, I hit that button and it does nothing most of the time. I'll have like 10, like when I was doing my T5 or scrap, right? I had to set up the
Yeah.
T5. I put them into like 10 or as many as I could so I didn't have to wait for 6 days for all that stuff to come out.
Yeah.
And when I did that, it did something interesting. I can retrieve them normally by hitting that retrieve next to it. But when the retrieve happens for retrieve all, for me specifically, my retrieve all button has never worked. I don't know the
Interesting.
why of it, but it's never actually worked. It was a low key priority for me, so I've never really thought to mention it, right? But like, because I can still hit the regular retrieve button and retrieve them all very quickly just by retrieving the top one over and over.
Yeah, yeah.
But the
But you have
retrieve
to click like
all, yeah, I have to
15
click
times.
there.
But yeah. So yeah. Well, if it's a bug, I will fix it. And then I have added
Data
like
says, real quick here on that, data says I have to retrieve all 2 to 3 times for it to work. Okay, so I'll try to click it a couple of times and see if it works.
yeah. That could be that could be a thing. Yeah, and that's due to the lagging. So the thing is when it's due to all the so it's not just putting an item into your inventory. It does also some stuff in the background, and um, you have to like sometimes slow down a little bit. That's possible that you have to click like twice,
Okay.
uh, so it register. I don't know. We will
No, it's
see.
fine. If it works that way, it works, right? Like I'm not asking it to work perfect, just that it work, right? Like, see,
Yeah,
for
I mean,
you clicked it once. For me, I click
but
it
yeah,
and
maybe
nothing happens. And I was like,
yeah.
okay, I'll just retrieve it the normal way.
I mean, it could be like just a lag or yeah, maybe
Okay.
you click more than once. And the other stuff we have put, so
And I haven't
you could.
forgotten your other questions or in chat. I'm just waiting to queue it.
So one of the thing we were you were able like to retrieve your schematics in VR and place them, but you have like two VR and it's always like painful. So we have the shared hub
According to
where
Gumball
you can.
or Poet, it's like a gumball machine. You have to kick it, curse at it, fiddle with it.
So the shared hub is like a hub where you can only have data, but
Actually,
you
could
can
you
have.
explain the shared hub real quick? That is something I know a
Yeah.
lot of people ask, especially when they hop in and they can't they don't there's a lot of that they don't really understand, and I know I specifically had no answers for them because it's not a system I generally use. And
So
several people have said
yeah.
they have no issues with it. So I'll try it a couple of times.
Yeah, so the shared hub is has been developed to solve many a few issues. The first one was when you are scanning territories and you are doing that in the org to
Okay.
share your results with your mate. It was painful. Like if you are two people scanning on Simian, and at the same time you don't know where your friend is
Oh,
scanning. So by having one shared hub where all the data go in that hub, then everyone linked to that, and you can open your
so
map and you see all.
in relation to schematics, you can just put them in there from wherever you are.
Exactly. You can use
Ah,
them for
okay.
schematics. You can use it for scan results. You can use them, of course, for blueprints. And so that's the reason why the shared hub exists. And so they are using they work like that. If you deploy a shared hub in one of your own construct, only you will see the shared hub. If you deploy one into a org construct, then everyone in the org can see the shared hub, and if he has the right to put and retrieve element from the shared hub, he will be able to like a normal container. And so this is really useful. And now with the new feature we have on the server where you can access to your shared hub in VR, I can go to let's go somewhere
Yep.
here, and I can buy blueprint in VR,
See, this part I
which
like. That's what convinced me to actually spread out because I've always wanted to live on Jago, but
yeah.
I sell blueprints, and that was a problem because people were gonna have to warp out to me just to pick up a data packet, and that was kind of dumb.
Yeah, and that was done. Yeah. So here I'm in VR. I can access my shared hub. Uh, go with yeah, scan result, and I can link to it. So the rules of the VR still exist. If I buy a blueprint here
And your
and
inventory it
then
disappears.
it will disappear. But if I drag it, if the oh yeah, well it went already
Okay,
because
because
I
it's
was
already linked in primary.
linked.
Okay.
So it went here. So I can already like exit the VR session.
Oh, thanks.
So that's one of the thing we have asked NQ for a long time, and they never implemented it. So now you can do that in
Okay.
VR, and that's one of the use of the shared hub. And I mean everything that is related to that data file. So like you can also sorry, you can also share, I think, keys from construct. So if you have a construct key, you can
So that is a data element then.
yeah, I think we can try it, but I think the the
Actually, no, yeah, it is because I picked one up, and
yeah. So
it's like a
think
data element. Okay, so that makes sense. And before we go
yeah, you
too far, I do have a question from Lunar's
yep.
key on tiles as well. Before I forget it,
Hmm.
while you're doing this, though, I'll wait until you're done.
I'm done.
Okay, so that goes to the other container, or that can go into your schematics
Yeah,
container.
so that can go in which is a shared hub.
Okay, so that is confirmed. Then, all right, cool.
So it can be useful to like share also like and
Yeah.
you can be at the opposite side of the universe and
My
claim
favorite part of your blueprints was the addition to the operations tab for your wallet and all that, and territories. Now I don't have to carry around a million schematics. I can just press
oh yeah.
O. That
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
was so
you
much
can
better.
deliver everything, and this is useful like if you have a space station that produce fuel. That was a pain because you have to go to do a space station to deliver the schematics. Now you just, if you have a shared hub there, you can just uh,
Okay.
push the
Now on the shared hub, I do have a question. So, like,
yeah.
I'm part of my buddy's orgs, as an example, to utilize their warp beacons, but I don't have access to any of their hubs because we're not technically, in the same org for reasons of operating the org. We're just using the
Yeah.
just using the warp beacon. So I cannot access their shared hubs, which is perfectly fine. But the shared hub, so when I make one on my own, is that something that's only accessible to the org or the person who made it, or is that something that has layers of permissions to it?
So it's binded to the construct you are deploying it on. So if it's a personal construct, only you will see it.
As a
Even
shared
if
hub.
you
Okay.
yeah, even if you share to someone, it will not be able to access it.
And
I
so
mean,
it's not a
it
limited
will
thing
be
either. You could make a bunch of shared hubs if you wanted to.
yeah. They
Okay.
all the same price as a normal hub, so it's not very expensive to make many of them.
Okay.
And if you deploy them on the org construct, then it's automatically shared to all the org member.
Okay. See, I like this system mainly because, just real quick interjection, I know I messaged you this the other day. One of my biggest kind of wishes for DU, I guess, personally, right? Like every player's got them. But one of my biggest wishes was to get. So I love the concept of a spread out universe, right? Like the people of Jago, the people of Ion, so on and so forth, right? All
Yeah,
the different planets exist, and most of the players, specifically around Market 6 and Dual Universe to Life, was a big problem. And it created a lot of lag error, right? So with like new players would join the game and they'd be like, wow, this is buggy, and they would leave, right? Because you only have that, it's like your first impression window, right? They would only have
yeah,
this limited time to try to grab your attention before they're like, okay, I'm going to go play something else. And you got to get that right ring. And it's the first impression problem of a video game. So I like the idea of the shared hub because it causes a lot more spread out. That spread out is beneficial to the game because it creates people in different corners of the universe, and it makes it feel more fully alive instead of, yes, there's a universe, but we all only live here on these couple of planets.
yeah. You're right. It gives freedom. You
Yeah,
that mean if you want to go like you want to make your base on Theoma because you want to be like alone and not have a neighbor,
yeah.
you can still do it and you can still sell your blueprint and you can still interact with other people without necessarily having to have them to warp to you all the time.
Okay.
And because it's a data item, all the future data item we will put in the game will be able to be shared like that.
I
And
just had an idea real quick. Um,
yeah,
this is just a slight idea. I don't know how far it would go, but possible money sink idea. And then I'm going to ask Lunar's question right after this. But possible money sink idea, so I don't forget it. And possible use to the player. So you have your shared hubs, right? If we create something like a shared hub, but slightly different, and say I don't know, I'm selling stuff on, or Falfadet is part of my org. He's a factory guy, right? And we live on Jago. So say we sell engines over there or containers or something, right? If you're willing to pay a tiny tax to the server and use a shared hub to be able to access in VR that shared hub with a maybe a tax on it. So like if you put a, as an example, if he's selling 10 expanded XXL containers on Jago at the main market, that's or one of the markets there, we're near market 4 on Jago, and you live on Alioth or Teoma or something, you could hop over there in VR or however you want to do that and simply buy your components without having to pay the warp cell cost, but you still pay a tax to put them in a long distance container. Would that be an
Yeah,
idea to
I
pursue?
mean, yeah. So the that could be an idea, but the issue is the how much you are paying, because the you don't want you have always to think about people like trying to exploit it.
No,
Like
I
if
mean, like
you
if you
want,
based it on weight as an example, because weight
yeah,
is
but
usually the
yeah, that
primary factor.
yeah, but it will be like related like to how much warp cell it will cost, and you just like um, you are you don't have to fly there, so
Shh,
you are
poet, I'm
saving
trying to
on
help us
time.
here.
No, but you are paying on on on
Yeah,
time. Like you are saving time, but you still have to pay like
yeah. When
close to
Ethan
the
moved out
price.
here as an example, he we had a fun moment. By the way, I did a YouTube video with the NASA countdown, and I barely made it out of the atmosphere, but it was fun. But he paid, what was it? What'd you pay? 90 million or something just to quickly get all your stuff in one box essentially and warp it out there to Jago. I
It
don't
was
know.
like
It
70.
was like
Yeah.
70.
Yeah,
Yeah. So people are willing to pay that price because one, it's
yeah,
fundamentally a more secure way to do something. Think about it like a bank transfer, right? Like bank transfers
hmm,
cost money. They do. But at the same
yeah.
time, they are a fundamentally much more secure way than putting cash in your pocket, hoping not to get mugged and moving it a long distance.
No, you're totally right. I mean the and just for the time saving, like if you could. So there is some plan. I have already like thought a few idea around that.
Okay.
The so like all the feature I'm trying to put on the server is like to keep the balance. So
Yes.
um, and but keep the balance, and if I put a feature, it need to be useful for the player base.
Yeah.
So it not be something that people will use. So I mean it's really like normal. Like all the hour I will spend to code, they worth something. They worth something in terms of gameplay. Like people will use it more hour than I have spent to code it.
Yeah.
Which like it's a little bit the opposite of the Alien Warfare, right?
Yeah.
You has taken a lot of time to code that, and close
See,
nobody was doing it.
one of the major problems that I always thought existed, and it's not just for a game like Cool Universe, it's actually kind of a universal issue. And that issue was most of the people who play a game like this, as an example, are not going to be children. They're going to be typically adults. And adults have jobs, responsibilities, stuff like that. So if they can speed a process up by paying for something in game, right, with proper coinage like Quanta, if they can pay for something that way, it would be better for the overall general player simply because we're adults and we tend to have responsibilities that come with being an adult. Um, so that was always something that I kind of got irritated with certain games because it was like the amount of time wasting that went on. And yes, you are right, or Mountain, that you can pay missions, but there's also a risk with missions. So if you want no
And
risk,
you
you
have to
pay a
move
higher
a lot.
fee to have your stuff just automatically transferred. So, but that
And
automatic
it's
transfer is
yeah,
beneficial.
and you not necessarily you are still like have to wait a lot of time. So the if the if one feature will be it's to make you not have to wait so much, right?
Yeah,
Um, so and I'm always taking the example of someone that have like I don't know like 4 hours to play a week.
yeah.
If he has to slow boat for 2 hours, that means
It's half
he
his
has only
game
two
time is
hours. Yeah,
spent
yeah,
probably not even in front of his machine. He's probably going to
yeah,
watch TV or something.
yeah, exactly. And so maybe for this guy, he will prefer like to be able to, yeah, like you said, pay and have the thing deliver. But
Thank you, Philip.
it's not easy.
No,
It's
it's
not.
not something you can implement just right away. This is possible future stuff. Oh
You
yeah, the
need to yeah you
question.
need to do things about yeah. So
Yeah.
what was the question?
So the question from Lunar was, how are you planning to balance resource inflow into the game to prevent hyperinflation without limiting availability to tiles?
Um, this is a
Like
good
an
question.
economics question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that we are playing in a game. We are not like in the real life. So the
Also,
thing is,
that's agreed.
if I have been like that. So when I was only playing, I was able to play 10 hours a day.
Yeah.
So I was able to gather so much resources that there is no way to balance that. And one of the issue NQ has tried to do is to limit us. And this is frustrating. If we are here to enjoy and have fun. If I want to build like you have a plan to build 40 XL core, right?
Yeah.
Um, this will drain a lot of resources. That means you will have to go and gather a lot of resources.
Oh yes.
And you are planning this. Why? Because you know that it's possible to gather this amount of resources. So I understand that yes, there will be some inflation in some part of the thing, but you need to give the opportunity to the player to build a
Yeah, you
huge
want to
thing
let them
if they want
play
to.
a game, not stare at it, type thing.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And so that's a and yeah, like the economy in DU has always been really messed up in
Yeah, that's
I
fair.
mean I have played in beta it was messed up, in release it was messed
I
up.
always thought we were
In
missing. So a basic economy, as an example, real quick, not to cut in here, but a
yeah,
basic economy, as an example, in the U.S., which is where I'm from, we run off of the copper, silver, gold standards, right?
mhm,
So if you have standards of different kinds of material or money value, then you have the ability to create a basic funded economy. Some of those resources are harder to get. So, and yes, not since 1971, you're not wrong, but at the same time, the original standard was kind of based on that. We are in a fluctuation right now, but that's politics, and I don't want to get into that. The original intent behind it, though, was to help uh, create a varied economy that worked better. And the model was taken, I believe, from several other countries that had a similar thing. And so the gold standard, as an example, was your hardest to obtain, right? The most
yeah,
expensive. You're talking like T5 would be the equivalent in this game. Your
sort of, yeah.
well, not T5, sorry, be your T4s, because you
Uh,
still have your super precious metals that are
yeah,
more
yeah.
expensive than gold.
Or we could say plasma maybe.
Yeah, plasma.
Or
So
yeah,
your silver standards are like your T2s. They're the basic industry level funding operational capability for like higher level items, and then you have your basic stuff, which is your woods, your coppers, basic industry stuff that doesn't require a lot of extra effort to obtain in the sense of money. It's more of a you work hard for this, you get this, less of a
yeah,
hey, you need a huge massive mining operation for a tiny little amount. So a way I thought you when we were talking earlier was you were talking about a vendor that would have multiple kinds of coinage, basically, or at least terming in the form of
yeah.
coinage.
So yeah, so one of the thing that we can like to reduce a little bit like all the elements and the ore. So one of the thing is like typically like the new voxel we have put today in the game. Um, I have tried to design the recipes to use ore that we don't use much. Why? So it's draining a little bit this amount of ore, extra ore we have, and we don't use it.
Okay.
And also it's so one of the honeycomb is based on plastic. So I could have used only carbon like a normal plastic, but it would have put a high pressure on carbon, more
Yeah, you
carbon,
need
and
to use the level 2 or 3.
yeah. So the goal
No
was like
problem there.
it has been like put on pyrite, which is a ore we barely use. The
Okay.
same with the other one that is based on silver, which is also ore that you don't
Not commonly
necessarily use
used.
much. Yeah, and I try to equilibrate, balance a little bit the game like that. But yeah, in terms of inflation, I think it's a fight we have already lose. We have lost the fight. You cannot fight against that.
Well,
Not you
it's
cannot
also
fight
a
against a
video game.
player. Yeah, it's exactly it's a video game. So you cannot fight against a player. And I take an example of me because I'm like I can be like a hardcore gamer, so I can play 10 hour a day for 1 week, and I remember I was like digging 3 MB by day. What what would you do against a player like that? You cannot do
Yeah, no,
anything.
because they're
I mean,
playing the game as intended. Because it's
yes,
not like
and
this isn't a perfect society or even a non-perfect society that operates, say, on capitalism as an example. This is inherently, at the end of the day, meant to be a fun game. Keywords: fun game. If life was a
yeah.
fun game, we probably wouldn't be standing in front of our screens. That's not the case.
True.
So we're standing in front of our screens. So I'm just saying that that kind of adds
Yeah,
up,
so
right? There's going to be
yeah,
breakable loops, and that's just
but
part of making it
yeah,
fun.
but there is some part we are like always because the thing is in the long term, right? I'm seeing the server in the long term. That's why every patch I'm doing, I'm trying to keep the balance. Every addition I'm adding is I'm trying to keep the balance. So in long term, the server will stay healthy. Um, but more it will go, more we will have people with a lot of money, which is normal.
Yeah,
And
that's a good thing,
this
though,
is,
because it spreads out.
yeah,
The more players who join us. So, one of the things I'd love to see for TTV, as an example, is right now we have a limited number of builders. We have a limited number of miners. We have a limited number of factory people. As an example, a lot of what I go to buy will be on Haven 13. Cough, cough,
yes.
Leniver. And it's very frustrating because I don't want to fly on Haven. I hate flying in Haven. So one of those problems that occurs is that naturally drops off that occurs is the more player count, the more this is spread out. It also creates monetary competition, which is good for you in the game, and it also creates a more stable economy in the first place. So because you have a large amount of competing people instead of one global conglomerate, as an example, this creates resource competition, and this creates monetary competition. It also spreads out the quanta to people who do things like I do, as an example, not to be selfish, but you have builders.
Yep.
Builders have to figure out, as an example, I sold the Alteran, which was a blueprint,
Hmm.
and the Alteran was my best selling ship ever. The dumb part about the Alteran was it was literally a 2-day build out of frustration, and a bunch of people wanted it when I was done with it. I didn't expect that. I figured they would want the Spirit E1 that I co-built with Doc Hack, which was a much more expensive blueprint, and I spent like 2 months or a month or something doing the inside of that stupid ship. It's a beautiful ship, but everybody wanted the Alteran. So I was like,
Yeah.
okay, that's fine. But the Alteran's only 6 million, and it's still been one of my biggest earners aside from pads. I think I had to have made like 600-700 million in just the live server off of a 6 million blueprint. which gave me the funding to produce my large hangars, buy ore from the ore people. It spreads the quanta around, if you get what I mean. And it also spreads good designs, good builds, things people like, right? Like, obviously they liked it or they wouldn't have spent that much freaking money on it. So it spreads that around. So in that sense, yes, the idea behind money sinks and player number is kind of, at least I think they go hand in hand.
Yeah,
And it lets other
it's
builders
also
kind of climb up there.
and it's also the needs. Like you are setting up on Yago, right?
Yes.
If there is like 10 player on Yago and maybe more player will come, then some of the market on Yago will be interesting to put some stuff to sell because people will be interested to buy out of those market, right?
Yes.
And
Also,
this is
you can
something
share
that
that billions of quanta anytime you feel like
yeah,
it.
this is one point half year of playing.
Yeah.
And but like yeah, I mean all the billion quanta is I have mined a lot, I have played a lot and sell a lot to the market.
Poet made an interesting observation here. I think what you need before a quanta sink is an ore sink. So, like mining missions, which are to deliver the normal mission packs, but add like 1 million T1 and 100k T2s, and reward you get a little bit of T4 or 5. I'm assuming on top of the quanta award, but that would be an interesting loop because I know as an example, I may not always need quanta, but I might need more elmanite, and I might be willing to exchange that ore. But like, I would assume, so one of the main things that popped up on the big server was doubling of each ore tier, right? So like the initial ore tier was like 25, T2 was like 50, T3 was 100, and T4 was 200, and T5 was about 400. Relatively, there was some fluctuation for people fighting over selling their stuff, which was good. That was competition. But at the same time, it created that value. So maybe if you did the exchange rate on that for about that, maybe a little less to add quanta in there, or if you do no quanta, just keep it as a simple exchange rate. That creates not necessarily a full stability, but an extra layer of, hey, your value, it isn't guaranteed per se, but if you have a bunch of this, you can guarantee at least a normal value, like a standard.
Yeah, I mean that could be something. Yeah,
T1 and 2, they happy. They pass some
I
of
mean
their bunny
yeah.
husk. Okay.
I mean you can have also like trading player from player. So we can add stuff like from the server side, like having NPC where you can go and trade your ore.
Okay.
And but sometimes I like to keep a few things like that in the hand of the player. So like if you
Yeah.
need some type of ore, you can ask in Discord or in the game.
Several of these
Um,
people like the exchange idea. Several of them are mentioning
yeah,
it now.
I
I don't
mean
know if you see the chat, so
yeah.
I need
I
to
mean
put
that
them back
that
up, so.
that could be a good idea. We could add that into one of the AD trade.
Now
That's my
remember,
way of
guys, in the
thinking.
stream real quick, there is, and I will be parsing this video and putting it up on the thing to save it, but remember, there is an ideas tab as well. So like, I frequently try to check it. I know I'm bad about this. It's kind of the same thing as why I started doing the stream, right? So like, poor Raven put a bunch of stuff on his site, and I think you helped, Lenny, and I don't read half of it. Why? Because it was like my buddy Hack. He'd be like, "Did you see the patch notes?" And I was sitting there like, "What patch notes?" Right? Because I'm not reading all the. I'm not interested in reading 50 lines of very. It's like reading a science paper with no humor in it. It's very
Yeah,
annoying. So it was one of those. It's like expecting me to read the instructions when I've done it 100 times. I'm not doing that, right? Like the first time I read the instructions, maybe the second or third time. But if I'm like 20 times in, like my ribs as an example, I know how to make the ribs. I don't need to pick up the instructions, even if they change slightly variant ingredients in the barbecue sauce. I still don't care,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah, yeah,
So it's kind of the similar concept. Or if I'm taking
yeah. That's
spark plugs out of my truck, I've done it enough to switch out the spark plugs in vehicles to where I don't need special instructions every 5 seconds. So, yeah.
yeah. That's one of the things that is really hard. It's to communicate the change we have made on the server, and we have done a lot. Some are tiny change, some are more big, I would say. Like the rec system is a big one, and it's really hard to communicate on how the feature is working or why it has been implemented. Like there is this is detail, but there is like some filter that has been added here, where you can filter your damage element or your element with property.
Yeah, I didn't even know about that. That's new to me.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of
That's new
small
to
thing.
me.
Yeah, or when you were like when you are in the market, here you have a special filter, which is order free, which means it will display only the element you can pick up from the market. Which when you have a huge market tab like me, uh, finding an element that is not sold here, it's impossible. So there
Oh,
is a
okay.
few things like that that has been added, and it's really difficult to communicate about all of those small
Those
quality
small
life
changes,
improvements.
yeah. That's why I wanted
Yeah,
to do the stream too, because I was like, I know there's a lot, and an idea just occurred to me.
yeah.
Is there a
So
way
so
to maybe include a in the game instead of in Discord? So like in the platform they normally use for reading and
yes,
doing that, could you put something like an ideas tab?
yeah. So I'm working on that. I
Oh,
want to
cool.
add here on the F1 menu.
Mm-hmm.
I want to add a new tab, TTV, or I don't know exactly how I will
See, that's how I'm
phrase it,
doing my
but
flight HUD. Is that first when you hit tab, is I'm gonna have all my settings in a new tab. Hopefully, if I can
yeah,
get the custom folder to work right, I'm gonna have a tab that controls the RGB settings and a few other things to create my own custom HUD, but be able to interface with it in a much better way.
yeah, exactly. But so yeah, I'm planning to do that, and to do that also in the three language of the game, because here we are in English, but I know some people I know are only French, and some are really bad in English,
Yes.
and same German people are like bad in English. So I'm trying all the modules I have done. I have also translated them in the
Oh,
three
okay.
language. It might miss a few translation left and right, but I have tried to yeah translate the most of it.
I mean, we all
And
also have Google, so we can totally copy paste the idea into Google and ask it to translate.
that's true, but it's always like it's it's
Yeah, we
like
are poet.
it's a quality of life. I mean, if you press F1 and it's in your language, then you will read it, right? If
Yes.
it's in English and you are French, you will not
Same
read it.
problem with like I got IKEA furniture one day and for some reason it came from overseas. I put that thing together with the pictures, not any of the words. I couldn't read any of the words. I was like, no,
Yeah.
I'm not doing this. I'm just gonna look at the pictures. It's fine. Also, my Gundam thing I got from the game shop, I like to put together like these guys as an example. This is my Destiny Gundam, and uh,
Nice.
I it was for some reason all the instructions were in some form of Japanese, and I was like, well, thankfully there's pictures in here because otherwise poor Gundam's gonna look really funny when it's done. So yeah, I
Y-
that definitely would be a good thing. That makes sense.
Yeah, so yeah, put everything in F1 and like make it a little bit more like intuitive, like not a patch note, like
Poet,
because you
I
you
might
do,
be.
you yeah you don't need like to add all the small change, like especially like what we did on the wings in the help menu, because people will like look at the stats on the wings and they will figure out the stat, right?
Oh yeah, you wanted
So
to go over that too. Let's not forget about that.
yeah, and so but for like yeah, for quality of life I would like to use, because there's like you have in the bin mode just another feature here. So in the bin mode you have settings here.
Those I do not
uh,
understand yet.
yeah, so this is your movement speed into the bin mode. So if you see now, I don't know if no, I'm not in bin mode.
No,
Yes, I was in build mode. So here I'm in build mode, right? If you see the speed
you're going pretty
I'm going,
fast.
yeah, I'm going the normal speed, like 90 kilometer.
So that
And
speed with the three things on it was messing with your
yeah,
XYZ axis. Okay.
and especially so also like the vertical speed and the walk speed.
Ah, okay.
And
That
I
is
like to have
useful.
I like to have a slow walk speed, but a fast running speed. And it's useful also when you're a builder, because when you want to be precise on voxel you are working on, sometimes the vertical speed, the bump is too big, right?
Yeah.
So you can lower it here.
Okay.
If you it's really it need
For more
relog.
precision. This
and
actually
and
leads
you
me to a question that I'll ask in a minute.
yeah, and so that's some feature that they are hidden here. And that's the I don't know where to put them to make them a little bit more intuitive. Maybe I will add a new settings here, like TTV settings, where you have all the settings, different settings you can have in TTV.
I kind of like where they are. I just didn't know how to use them. That was the thing I was a little confused by.
Yeah, so this is things like that, and I'm planning to add more small feature like that. So yeah, what was your question?
Mike, well, first here, no, that is not admin only. That is something you have, and when you hit build mode, Poet, it happens when you click your settings tab. So, like, if he goes into build mode right now, if you would, and you go up there to that little wheel, the settings or engineer settings, it's going to be in that bottom drop down area where you can mess with your vertical, horizontal, and what's the bottom one? I can't read it super well.
Or so horizontal speed, vertical speed,
Okay.
and so and the horizontal sprints. So it's speed,
Okay.
speed, and sprint.
Okay, yeah.
Uh,
And you can apply that to your different accesses. So,
yeah,
like, the game has XYZ because it's a 3D environment.
yeah, exactly. And so typically I'm an industrialist, so I need to go very fast from one corner to the other corner of my factory. And
Yes.
on live, I remember that was painful. Like when you were working
Yeah, even
on
when
the
you're
L4.
building. Like, as a builder,
Yeah,
I was building massive constructs, and that was quite irritating because if I needed to count, say, the voxels between a pad over here to the wall, then go 5 cores over or all the way to the other side of the large core, sorry, to do it, it was like I'd have to write it down or something because I was going to get distracted by something along the way and then forget what the hell I was doing and
yeah,
forget the
exactly.
number. And it was very
Yeah,
irritating.
and exactly what Valencia said. It's really useful on the Excel core. So
Yes.
that's also one of the reason why the Excel core didn't came yeah faster, is also because I wanted to add all the gameplay around the Excel core. If you don't have the speed increase, working on the Excel core is painful and it's not enjoyable, because you are so slow that if you want to go to the other side of your Excel core,
You go out of
you
build
take
mode and sprint.
yeah, you go out of the build mode and then you have to reload the build mode and so on, all
Yeah.
those small things. And now you don't have to do. You
They're
can stay in build mode.
interruptive.
Yeah, and so that's all those small quality of life I have added before putting the Excel core in place.
Okay.
And that's a little bit how I'm doing things. I'm trying to put all the environment in place so I can put the thing in place.
You used ramps to glitch fling yourself. Yeah, I think I did that a few times myself in builds. I'd be like, I'm just gonna stick a voxel here so I can run and bump it and be at the other side of the core. Yeah, and this is kind
But
of like a promo video. You are not wrong, Crazy. It's like we're outlining things that have been here or are coming that most people just don't know about because, again, you're expecting everyone to read an instruction manual, and that's not gonna happen. Just like the
yeah,
IKEA furniture. I'm pretty sure I could have found an English variant, but there were pictures, so I didn't care. Um, my question, real quick, on building was
yeah,
something I've always kind of wanted, and I feel like this would benefit factory people as well. Is instead of having to drag my character around who is has a height and all that kind of stuff, one of the things I would absolutely love and be almost willing to kill for is a build camera
yeah,
where my stupid character height, so like say I'm building something close to the floor, because like Ethan, myself, Dot Hack, and several other people, we build things super close to the ground sometimes to increase the level of detail in a build, as an example. And I either have to lift that whole thing off the ground, build it up above it, and then place it in and figure out what went wrong, if there's any sort of pulling or stretching of voxels, right? But if I could go into a build camera that had no theoretical height, I could just
yeah,
zoom under there real quick and see it real time in the build, which creates a much more uniform build without all that extra work. Because that's why, an example, that's why when you have builders, you see a bunch of build kit or what appear to be build kits. A lot of the time, it's not build kits, it's I can't access that close to this wall, or these parts are too close
yeah,
together and I can't see in between them. So they pull them
yeah.
apart.
So this could be done if we could mod the clients because this is client side. Um,
Okay.
so this is typically and like in term of Unigine, this is the graphic rendering used in Dual Universe. Unigine allow that. You can already like see it if I do a wave now. You see it's a 3D.
So the
You go in
camera,
3D.
the other
Yeah.
camera is already there. Okay.
So the other camera is already there. So it's totally possible, and it will not be that difficult if we
Okay.
had our hand on the clients, because the camera is already there, and
Free
then you
cam,
could like,
thank you. Yeah, that's the right
yeah,
word.
free cam, exactly, yeah, the free cam, and you could have a free cam that if you want to limit it, you can limit it to 500 meters from your avatar, right?
Yeah.
But you could already like go everywhere in FreeCam, and you cannot do anything in FreeCam, just watch, right? So it's not like if it was like game breaking.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's typically things. So there is things that we can mod, everything that is server side, and there is things that we cannot, and this is all uh, what is around the client. And what is on the
Thank you
client
for
side
helping
is
me.
it's the camera, like you said. There's the like tool.
See, I had to learn
If I
about that because I'm actually making my own video game right now on Unreal Engine 5 and a different setting on Go.4. And on Unreal Engine 5, I learned sadly that you have to attach that camera to the player. Otherwise, when you press
Yeah,
W,
yeah,
your player runs off the screen and off the edge of the map, and you can't see them anymore. It's
yeah,
like,
yeah. I mean, you need or you need to unbind the movement key from your player. You
yeah,
have two choice. You can, but the camera need to be bound
needs to be
to a
bound to the avatar, to
yeah,
the
to
mesh
an
or
element.
something, or
Yeah,
for the,
yeah,
yeah. Okay, so it is there, it's just not something anyone's implemented or used. They say in Q had something like it for themselves, so it is something that is technically probably possible.
yeah.
Not
So it's
100% yet, but probably possible.
exactly.
Okay.
And that's the same. There have been some people asking to like change the behavior of tools. We can do a few things, but like we cannot. Like people were asking to be able to build in the mirror. So you build one side and you have voxels that are
There's
done
no
the same
system in
way.
place for that, though, is there?
And there is no system, and this is purely client side. So it will be possible, but it need to be client side.
And it would be a
And
lot of work too, because you're dealing with one, there's the core problem, which the core
yeah,
renders an extra voxel somehow, and
yeah,
the
and the usability. I mean, you
yeah.
need it will require some dev. Yes,
See, I'm
but I mean
actually
this is
working on a build script real quick here. I'm working on a build script that will allow me to set a theoretical new balance point, because one of the things I've never liked about the game is an example when I, as a builder specifically, as a builder, I've never liked how balance is displayed in the game because it's very irritating. And so one of the things I'm doing is I'm creating a virtual overlay in a custom Lua folder. And that custom Lua folder, that virtual overlay, allows me to set a center of mass where I want it. And then a virtual box, another virtual box of a different color that shows, hey, this is where your balance is. So that way
yeah,
when I build, I can get that box closer to where I want it, so everything operates around this center of gravity instead of just trying to zero it all out, as an example, to create asymmetric ships, different kinds of ships, right? Like all sorts of different stuff. And that's my goal. Also, even just to, for people who struggle with that stupid inertia tensor matrix, which actually is supposed to be called an inertia tensor matrix. I did like a 2-week dive on learning about aircraft for that one to figure out what it was and how it worked. And it's not a well-built system for easy usability. It's a very confusing system that they chose to implement, but it is a system that is technically proper. It's just it's
yeah,
very
technical.
complex. So
Yeah,
if I can get the overlay to work, that is something I will be doing.
yeah, that's exactly we were talking about before about Lua, and this is the same. There is a lot of things in the game that are very technical,
Yes,
and they are correct, but they are too technical for the
they're
normal,
limiting.
the average, for the average player. If you don't want to like spend 10 hours learning how it's working,
Yeah, it's not about
um,
being dumb or smart. It's
yeah,
I have
no,
engineering skills because of my walk of
yeah,
life. My other friend has a lot of office skills with the spreadsheets and stuff and loves the factory, right? It's not about being smart or dumb. It's literally like, do I really want to learn a whole
yeah,
new system just to
exactly,
play a game?
yeah.
Well,
So,
shit.
so, yeah, so there is some part like that in the game that are like very technical, and
Yeah.
yeah, but yeah, yeah, that's a little bit like there is a lot of other feature. I think we could like maybe do another stream where we go around other features that are
Yeah.
on
One
the
thing I do
server.
want to mention on this stream is I recently found out why we have two load screens, and I would like to share this. So we have two load screens. When you load the game and you first load it, everything's fine. And then you click TTV in your selection of server, you log in, and it goes to an immediate 100% for about like 30 seconds, sometimes less for me. I have a good internet connection, but I have noticed other people say more. And that's actually not loading the game itself, it's loading client side the additions you've put into the server. Then it goes into a new load screen that loads individually the regular game itself, the server, and all of that. And
Yes,
I didn't know that. I thought my game was breaking or something was wrong. But
yeah.
that's
So
an
that's
intentional thing.
yeah. So that's one thing I have asked Berklow to change. Maybe it will do that. I ask, so we are sending as a server, we are sending files, typically assets for voxels or new elements, and those files they don't necessarily weight a lot, but they can differ, like from one loading, or if you clear your cache, you have to download them again.
Yes.
Uh, and the issue is, how it's done now is you have, like you said, it's go to 100%, and then it doesn't it doesn't mean that you have got all the file. It's still downloading, and I have asked Berklow that the it doesn't go 100%.
Yeah, it's
It's
well
it,
either that
it's
or put
loading.
it
It's
as
down.
a
Yeah,
So, like when you play Starfield, as an example, or even Star Citizen or any one of the other space games, a lot of times you see a screen that says something like loading shaders or
Yeah,
loading packs or some kind of downloadable content you have, right? It's implementing it into the
exactly.
game because it's
Yeah,
an extra file. Then it goes to the actual load screen itself, and they set it up to where it's all part of one load screen. But for this game, you're putting that window as its own separate load first, then you're loading the server.
yeah. So it's not a big deal that it's separate. It's just the player need to be informed.
Yeah,
The
like
player
Crazy
need
Hinky
to know
says,
what's
Bear
happening.
just needs to put some text on the screen loading server mods. Easy done.
Yeah,
And
exactly. Yeah,
that is
yes,
something that would be
yeah,
beneficial. Because that, like I said, when I first encountered it, I thought like I was reloading my game because I thought something was wrong. And that turned out to not be true. It was just that. So when I asked you and you explained it, it made a lot more sense. But players are used to seeing something like loading mods, or like if you were playing Ark on a special server that had a bunch of mods, it would usually say something like loading extra mods, right?
yeah,
Before you
exactly.
got into the game. It was very similar.
Yeah, so that's exactly that. And I'm sending the file, so I know the weight of each file. So I can send. I'm sending like a described file
Yeah.
to the player first, and then the player know which file he has to download.
And honestly, I'm
So
perfectly fine with a larger download as long as I know what it's doing,
exactly.
not
So
broken.
exactly. So this is something I asked the Berklow. Maybe we will have that on the next patch, or he will like do. But this is things that I have no way to do anything about.
So Bear is the
Sadly.
one who does that, though.
Yeah, and
Okay.
he did a lot of stuff. I mean, my DU is in that shape uh,
The
a lot.
spaghettification effect.
Yeah, a lot of that due to Berklow. He has done like an amazing job by supporting us and by implementing feature we were asking for.
Yeah.
But I
Um,
mean, yeah, we
could
have to
you
wait
show
for.
some of the voxels that you guys just implemented as an example?
Yeah, I can load on the test server maybe and
Okay. Just a quick
because they
sneak
are there.
peek at what you just implemented or still trying to work on. Maybe some extras, right? Little bonus content.
Yeah, well, on this test server there is like there's no extra content for now, but because I have put all all the extra that was on the test server is on the
Now,
live
while
one.
he's loading, I am working on new engines. As an example, I'll go to my Discord real quick here. I put it into my main channel. I am working on not new engines, that's actually the wrong way to say it. As an example, this right here is going to be one of the XL engine skins you can get, and I'm trying very hard to get it set up to where it takes them the same amount of space. Nothing's different for thrust, nothing like that. It's just adding in skins with different types of engines. Because honestly, one of the funniest moments in DU for me was I put down two engines. I put down an atmospheric and a space large engine. And I looked at my buddy who knew nothing about the game, and I was like, which one's space and which one's atmospheric? He pointed at the square engine and was like, well, that's obviously for space. And then he looks at the round engine, he's like, that's more aerodynamic. That's got to be atmosphere, right? And I was like, you would think that, but you would be 100% wrong. And then there's other builds, like the Millennium Falcon, as an example, is a very popular thing people like. And, oh, thank you. And I appreciate that, man, a lot. The Millennium Falcon, as an example, uses a completely different setup, and if you want something very similar to it in the game, you have to put a bunch of what you would call XL atmospheric engines, which is dumb. It's a lot of unnecessary engines and a lot of hookups for fuel lines that you don't need. But if you could stick one large in there that, say, used the same footprint, but just a wider, maybe a thinner, maybe a shorter, but the same overall volume of voxel normally used, or space in a ship, and a right collision window, you could just have that engine, or maybe like 2 or 3 of them, instead of 50. So
Yeah.
that is currently what I'm working on the side. And thank you, I appreciate it.
So
I really do.
this is related to like
Way to be
pixel core,
epic.
right?
Thanks.
Okay.
So
What is
we are
that?
seeing yeah, this is a structure that is uh, 27 pixel core,
Okay.
and we are on the test server, and the test server is like 10
Real
times
quick,
less
sorry,
powerful.
real quick here.
Uh,
Sorry about all the notifications on my screen. Like I said, something in the OBS or the files I used for this went wrong, and I would love to fix it. Not there yet. Working on it. So it plays the music twice. I'm very sorry. I don't know. I tried. Okay, continue. Sorry, I just wanted to explain that.
Yeah, so that's my one of the station I'm using for testing like the XL core if they are working, and this is 27 XL core. We are very
Holy
far away
shit.
from it,
Yeah. I was
and
gonna say it looked like it was far away.
yeah,
That is
very far
cool.
away.
Does it load
And
right, or is it like super laggy, or?
no, nothing. And it's a 3D model imported, so you know they are like very messy with a lot of
Yes.
voxels, and
The
it's
3D
still
modeling
loading.
does not work
Yeah,
well with voxel precision.
yeah, at least for now.
I know people are working on it, but yeah.
So yeah, so I'm testing with that, and it's loading on the test server, which is a really bad server. I mean, it's a low server, and it's still working here, so we are good on TTV.
Okay.
Marco.
And this is going to be the voxels, I'm assuming?
Yeah,
Okay.
just
I
this is
thought
a
some of
small
these were
tutorial.
very pretty, so I wanted to at least kind of touch on them a little bit, because these will unleash a lot of builds and a lot of build styles. Like Athan was building a very cool hallway kit that would look very pretty, even prettier than it is now, if it has some of these voxels in it, because they're just very pretty voxels. And that was something I always kind of disliked about DU in general for building, was they have all these materials, but like, I'm sorry, military just looks like baby poop green to me.
Yeah.
I always
So
thought that was
so
an odd choice. I was like, this is gross. Like, I've seen a baby diaper before, and this isn't that much difference.
so this is the
Love
different
that
voxel.
reflection.
Yeah. So this is the high glossy plastic. It's the sulfide glass composite,
Okay.
but
And this is this the pyrite you were talking about, or is this the
yeah,
other one?
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the pyrite. The sulfide is made out of it's the where it is now. Sulfide waste. Here. Sulfide plastic. It's pyrite. You still need a little bit of carbon.
Polysulfide plastic product. Okay,
Yeah.
so it's
It's-
using carbon, a little carbon, and a lot of sulfur, hydrogen, and
Yeah.
catalyst 3. Okay.
Catalyst 3, yeah. So we needed a plastic, a very glossy plastic, because the glossy plastic is not glossy enough.
No,
And
that is
and
one gives me a bunch of ideas for building.
yeah, and it give like again it give freedom to builder. Now they really can play with the different glossiness. I don't know if this word is English,
Thank you.
but the fact that you can have different texture, and this is a metal. This is the powder coated metal, and he has some reflection. Um, I will say it's more reflective than the steel, but it in terms of texture, it's between the polished and the galvanized. So here you have the steel galvanized, the steel polished, and in terms of texture, it's between both of them. So
Okay.
again, it's giving, and the color are really good.
This would actually be useful for a lot of those cars I see people build.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
It provides that, what's that called, that matte finish they use on them?
Yeah, it's the I used the term. I don't remember how it's called,
It's
but
like,
yeah, I mean, yeah, it's not glossy, but it's
well, it takes me back to my Need for Speed Carbon days, and that's a good thing because you could like put the carbon hood on there, the little
yeah,
pieces, change the
it,
colors. It was very
so
cool.
it's called pearlescent.
Okay.
Pearlescent texture. So it's not glossy, but it's more than. And you have the steel. We have added a few color in the steel. Um, special
I love the greens on there.
yeah, the purple was like people were asking purple for ages, and so we have now purple.
Yeah, purple
And
is a lovely color to use for building. It just adds a lot into the game. One voxel color actually that I would like to see is I use aged copper for this effect right now, but if you take aged copper and you put it into what looks like a flower bed in a build and kind of rip the voxel up a little bit, maybe make mounds or something, and it creates almost a dirt effect if you use the right light above it, like a yellow light or something, or an off yellow,
mhm.
like a sunlight almost color. It builds something a lot like dirt, and then you can kind of put stuff in it, and it creates, but I would like a better dirt texture. Because I've used this
Yeah,
in
so
multiple
yeah,
ways. I've used this behind an aquarium. If you put a very high-res blue light on it, it looks a lot like an aquarium back. But if you use it as dirt and use a yellow light, it looks more like dirt. And I would like to see some more textures like that as well.
we will add more texture like that. This is planned, and we like
Oh, okay.
Marco is has done an amazing job on that.
Yeah, this is
Like
really pretty.
and this is like so you see here. This is the glossy plastic, and you see the different reflection between the glossy plastic, and if you go the same color in high glossy, this is definitely not the same reflection.
No, there's much higher reflection. It's almost like Star
Yeah,
Citizen level quality of reflection.
yeah, exactly. And we need that. It will make also some design more modern, like
Yes.
uh,
Especially
and
like
so
the
that's
inside of a room or something, or like a
yeah,
really, what would you call that? Like a high class. Like Orison in Star Citizen is one of the prettiest places they've ever made. And a lot of it is reflective, even the wood.
yeah, yeah, exactly. So that's the goal, and we have also new luminescent voxel, a real green, a real
Okay.
light green, a real blue, and this is a
That I
cold.
dig.
And the cold is it's between the dim and the white,
Okay. Are you guys gonna
and
do like a red orange?
we could add that was mentioned to have like maybe
Like a burnt orange
something
color or something?
maybe yeah like this one or like the transfer unit orange. Um,
Okay.
I don't know. We need to place it in the world and check the color when it's in the world because like
Clear
this
voxels are not technically possible right now. There's some discussion on it, but not technically at the moment, as far as I know.
yeah so for the transparent voxel. The issue is O and Q has designed the voxel. So they apply a texture outside the voxel, and the inside is transparent. And they have like locked the opacity of the texture to 1.
So you
So
can't
this
change it.
is a yeah, we cannot change it. But it's again, this is something that could be done really easily on the client side. I mean, I think it's easy to make it in the client side
Yeah,
because I have been
possible,
able to
just not yet.
yeah. And one of the reason why we don't have more texture now in the game is because there is a bug on the version we have.
Oh yeah, you're
If you
talking about
see,
the 4K and 1K stuff.
yeah, so this is like 1, 2, and 4K resolution. So the 2 and 4K doesn't load. Um, and here this is the 1K, but the 1K is not loading 1K. Is loading the 128 um, pixel
Oh,
because
so
there is a bug. So
okay,
we cannot have high tech.
the
I would
tags
say
must be
normal. Yeah,
associated to different resolutions, and that's
yeah,
causing a problem.
and if you see, it's only when you go over here that it's changing. So
Okay.
here it's loading another color, that means another layer.
Yeah.
But it should have already load one here, and another one here, and another one here.
Okay.
So currently it's bugged. Once Berklow fix the bug, then we will be
You
able
guys are
to
going to be
add
doing a
more.
white in that, right? So like I can make NASA pipes.
There is a lot of texture, like, and we need, the more difficult part will be like to group them into like logical
Color
group.
suite. Yeah.
Yeah, to not like, because the thing is, so now we have big section, and that's why we have all those color for sulfide. The same with it's, so it's a big section, so you are not lost when you are searching for honeycomb.
Yeah.
If you have only one texture, very special, that is lost between all the honeycomb, you will never find it. So this is something we have already talked with Marco. We need to do like meaningful category,
Yeah.
and
Well,
so
also
like,
build
yeah.
libraries sort of help out with that. One of the things I was thinking about for my own personal library of voxels was to do categorize them first by type, then by color, then by reflectiveness,
Hmm.
and then by patterns, right? So like solid versus a pattern material, that kind of thing. I was thinking about four
Yeah,
different floors where I could do that with every voxel in the game, so that way if I want something, say, only titanium, I can go to only titanium. But if I want something of a certain reflective nature, I can go to the reflective area where it labels them in layers from matte to reflective instead of type.
yeah. That's. I think it looks a little bit like what Raven has deployed for. Let me go on TTV. So Raven has deployed a voxel library, because people wanted one. Just a display one where you can
Yeah,
go and see. And I don't remember who made it, but it's not finished, but it's a really, the ID behind is really good, because like you said, they are categorized by color also. If you want
yeah,
greens, you go into the greens and you have all the voxels that are greens. And this is awesome
yeah.
because, yeah, in
It
terms of
lets you be
selection.
like, okay, this green, but now you can see all the greens, so you get the right, or at least close to the right one you're after. Instead of making 50 decisions, you make two or three.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. I don't know if it's this one. No, that's not this
Because I
one.
remember IC
Uh,
used to have that. I think it was IC. Was it IC who had that? There used to
Maybe
be
I
this
see.
really big one where you could like hop around in elevators that had labels on them that was all the types of voxels, but it didn't have it by color gradient. So, or by like reflective, but it was one main voxel thing. Also, there's whoever had that had funny
Oh, that's,
shapes on it, and it wasn't truly representative of what the voxel could do,
yeah,
how it would
that,
look.
and that's one thing also, on TTV, the all the elevator can go through all the core.
That I
So
did
you don't
notice.
have
That
to,
I like. I don't like having
yeah,
50 elevators.
yeah, exactly. So to go one place to another, you don't have like to go, yeah, all. So here you have like the normal floor where you
Wait a
have,
minute. This looks familiar. I built this
yeah,
exact thing just with more bevels in it in the main server.
yeah, then maybe that's yours.
No, it's not mine specifically. Like what I did was the those black edges that are on the side bracing the voxel itself.
Hmm.
Those were thicker and I beveled them to make them look better. And
So
then
yeah,
I
so the
had the
the
same shape rendering the voxel itself. That's interesting that
so
someone else would do the same thing.
so the first floor was all the different, like, by category, and here you have like by color,
All the
and I really like
browns.
that.
Okay.
Yeah, you have all the brown with like going from light to
It's like
dark.
going into a wallpaper store almost, or a carpet
Hmm.
store. You can see
Yeah,
not just
exactly.
the type, but you can see all the colors.
And I think it's a really good idea, because when you want to build something out of blue, and you know that you want blue, but you don't know exactly which one you want, then it's a good way to really
Yeah.
quickly know which one.
See, I think this one stumps. Like, a lot of what I did actually in the main server was for other people anyway, not specifically to myself, was I'm good at coloring. It's like one of my stronger build points, I guess. Like, we all have a stronger point, and mine was coloring. I was very good at picking colors. And so a lot of people would come over and be like, what color? And then I had my library kind of like this one, like I said, where I could just go in and be like, okay, well, this one's going to match your ambiance or tone better, right? But if you want to change the tone, then use this one. So yeah, this kind of emulates that a little bit, and I think a lot of people struggled with that because that was literally one of the main questions I got. Interestingly, was, hey, what color do you think I should use?
Yeah.
Like, what material? Because a lot of players, especially if they're just starting, or if they don't have access to all the different voxels, aren't going to know, say, that some of these greens exist in the first place. Like when I was looking for blue voxels as an example, the whole reason I built my library was because I completely skipped cobalt.
Yeah.
I didn't even
Yeah.
know that it had a, like, I figured it was going to be stupid like the petalite, right? I was like, the petalite itself was kind of this off pink color, kind of like throw up pink, and the cobalt was just this gray on the screen. So I was like, oh, okay. And then I noticed it was inherently different, so I went back through and I built this library. That's where it came from. And that was when I found the other color of blue that I really actually wanted.
Yeah, and that's another benefit of the XL core, isn't you can do everything
Yes.
on the XL core and have only one elevator
Yeah.
and go everywhere.
And I like the
So-
concept here. The layout's very nice.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's just going from one to another one is a little bit tricky.
Welcome back,
But that's
Ethan, by
because-
the way.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome back. It's just because like it's an old building, but
Well, it's
Yeah, I
like
like the
a
concept.
supermark almost for color, pattern, and choice. Like I said, it was like when you walk into example where I live, we have a Menards about 50 minutes away, I think. And in that Menards, when I needed to go pick carpet color as an example, because I bought my house and I needed to change some of the stuff because for some reason there was this kind of weird sort of beige carpet thing that just looked really bad. It looked dirty and I didn't like it. So I had to go in and I took a couple of pictures on my phone with the wall and the carpet and where the seams met, what colors of wood there were on the seams, and I was able to go into the store and do exactly what you're doing now and be like, okay, all right, so like if you have a screenshot, right, you can come into a place like this and sort of color match or color palette for yourself. One of the things I also was thinking about doing was uploading all of these patterns, all of these colors individually into a system of some kind and in a separate system, kind of like the voxel factory for DU factory, right? Like, but it's voxel instead, where you had like maybe you could choose up to 15 different colors and your primaries being a group, separate them however you want to, and then pick the different shaders and colors from the voxels so you know, okay, this is my sort of planned build. Because one of the problems in DU, as an example, is if you go to your inventory real fast or your market and you type in, say, sulfur voxels, right? And sulfur voxels those pictures are not indicative of how that looks.
yeah,
They're
Well,
actually
that's something-
different
yeah.
looking.
that's something we could maybe. I'm wondering if we could not do something to do that in game,
Like a
Um,
color palette setup.
like when you inspect it. Well, here, yeah.
Change
where is it?
add some picture or something.
To have like maybe a button here, or
Okay.
and when you click it on it, you can visualize the voxel.
Maybe like bring up an image from inside the store even, right? Like a stored image of some kind.
Yeah, like a 3D, but we could like have like a voxel, right?
Yeah.
So you have like the voxel of this, or maybe like a cube, and we could like you can turn it to see how it's looking. That could be done, yeah.
Yes, we are.
Like you said, like having a website where.
Well, I think it'd be better for the website because if you do a bunch of photos, that's still going to be client side to, or your server to clients, or client side to person download, right?
Yeah.
So it might be better to do It might be better to do the overall setup. Oops, there we go. Sorry, I was clicking on messages. But it might be better to do it that way because I know DU Factory is an example. A lot of people prefer something like the DU Factory things that people build out of like spreadsheets and stuff on another site because it lets them. Most people have either two screens or can minimize their window a little bit and kind of put them side by side to see their layout.
True.
The other thing was the factory thing I used to use was the DU implemented factory page, or I think it was DU itself or another player, but I was able to click what I wanted and it would populate with the ore I needed. And if I wanted to implement the machines, I could, but I could also put my talents in there. The same thing could be said of voxels. So like if you put this on a website instead of a server side, I could say like the voxel you're staring at right now, I could say, okay, I want this voxel, but it uses this element, and I would need these machines at minimum to make it along with these schematics.
Yeah, true.
Because that adds more depth to using it. And you don't have to use that depth, but you could.
Yeah, true. And you should be able to render all those voxel in like a website.
Yeah, because you're loading a separate client that's not based on loading the game. Because like you said, you're trying to keep that low, and while I don't mind, I mean, I'm totally okay. If it adds a bunch of stuff to the game, personally, I'm okay with waiting for like a good minute, right, for a shaders window or something, or maybe even a couple. I'm totally okay with that. Most gamers are. But at the same time, when you implement too much, right, you end up walking away from the PC to do something before you even get into the game. So like I'd say probably like 2-3 minutes is probably your hard limit, because you're gonna hop into Discord if you got friends to chat with your buddies, that kind of thing, before you even like really load yourself mentally into the game. So there's that like 3-minute window.
Yeah, totally. I mean, there is a lot of stuff can do around voxel, and I'm really not like a good builder. I'm doing some stuff.
Hey man, that's why you guys pay me.
I mean, yeah,
I'm okay
that's
with
why
that.
that's why I have asked like Tor and you and other people for the colors and what.
See, like if you go
what do
back
you
right
need,
there,
you know?
go back right there. I'll show you something cool. Just a tip for you guys. If you hover on that aged voxel over there, I believe that is aged sulfur, is it not? Or sodium?
This one here?
Yeah.
Yeah, aged.
That makes a lovely, lovely fucking concrete. If you're doing, like, so if you grab a little bit of that and something like that very nice sulfur next to you on the right, and you use that sulfur on the right as, say, like a small, use the voxel precision tool, make it small and thin. That's what I did in my elite hangers, was I used that aged sulfur and a panel that was shiny, and I put them both together and realized it looks like a very high-end concrete that you would expect to find in like just a very, what would you call that, luxury style hanger, right? Yeah. And that sort of color matching is what I was good at. But when I saw that voxel, I realized what it could be used for, because aged iron, aged titanium, and the other aged materials, while they do look nice, some of them look like this, the one you're just at, and some of them don't really look like high-end concrete. They don't mix well with that like metal appearance. Whatever color you're using, it doesn't mix well, but that aged sulfur does. It just has a much better appearance.
I think I'm using the
for aged sodium
for pillar. I'm using Duralumin for pillar because they are like they have some
cool pattern on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
The pattern's useful for visualizing the pillar. So yeah, if you want to use stuff like that, so like it's kind of like buying a t-shirt. I always explain it this way. It's kind of like buying a t-shirt. Most people don't want to buy a t-shirt with words on it unless the words mean something to them, so they look for a color palette instead. And so when you're actually wondering about a build, quick tip for you guys, if you're wondering about a build, think about your clothes when you're wondering about colors. Think about your clothes, quite literally. This is actually something engineers do. So like when they design a new shape, as an example, you might see a building that sort of looks like a sandal. Well, you might be surprised to find out that the engineer used a sandal as his inspiration. So, but the color patterns, a lot of times they're based on a real world item that's very relatable, such as your color palette of your clothes, maybe the color palette of your car, even the color pattern of your yard, right? Like that's it, all kinds of like the paint on the side of your house. If it's matched well, it makes a good color pattern that you can use in games and real-time effects. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean,
It's just a different way of looking at it. Sorry, I didn't mean to go into a small rant there, but I did.
no, but I mean, definitely. I mean, you inspired as an engineer. You're always inspired by stuff that already exists.
Yeah. I mean, that's how you build something new. You take something that already exists, make an idea, you get an idea off of it. Because if you lived in a vacuum, you would get no ideas. You wouldn't have a conceptualization of it. So yeah, no, I do kind of like this though. So we've gone over what now? We've gone over voxels. We've gone over voxels you're bringing into the game. We've gone over some of the server changes that you've implemented specifically for TTV. Oh yeah, I wanted to go over the rec system a little bit. So I'm gonna hop to my screen here. Since I'm on Jago and this is convenient, I'm just gonna use my flying brick, or as my buddy calls it, my witches and duct tape ship. Yeah, my buddy called me out pretty quickly. He said, you either build something very pretty or it's very practical to the point where it looks like it's held together by band-aids, duct tape, and some wishes. So again, this is what I was talking about with the screen though. This 100% screen right now will switch. And now it switched. That first screen was loading all of the client-side data that's different from the actual game itself, but part of it. So, as you can see, this is my base. I don't know why I went this detailed on my container hubs. Ignore that.
I like that.
It's just what I did. I was using high-level material, and I was kind of like, this is cool. Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do that. And then suddenly it turned into that.
I like it a lot.
So, I will give you guys a quick peek, though, at something. Just a little selfishly, since I am streaming. This is my newest ship. This will be available in about 2 months. It has a lot of work left to do on it, but I took inspiration as an example from X4 Foundations, the Terran ships for this. So, as an example, this is the reactor, or the anti-grav reactor thing, and I did something kind of cool with it. I gotta get inside the door. There we go. As you can see, these are my new stairs. But the reactor room looks like this.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I kind of went to level 50, and I was like, I don't know why I went this far. It was just something that occurred to me, and I was like, you know what? This could be really cool. Let's try it. And that's how it ended up. Yeah, it's a lot of people like it. I just started accepting pre-orders on this thing, but not to be selfish. I am streaming though, so I will advertise a little bit. But this is my cockpit. I'm currently remodeling it. I've ripped it apart about 5 times now, and it still has a lot of work to go. But my favorite part about this ship is where it started. It technically started back here. I do not like the DU engines. I'll say that up front. I've never liked the DU engines. The space engines look kind of cool, but at the same time, when you think about space and engines, and like you think about like Stargate, about Star Wars, Star Trek, what's another good one? Babylon, all these different shows from like your childhood and stuff, right? So I built engines based on that. I made these cowlings that fit the engines perfectly without being blocked. This is actually one of the main reasons I was asking you about bringing the voxel point back by 1, or the interference point. Farscape, yeah, Farscape. That is another good one, or a good example. But the engines on this are just barely inside these frames that I built, so they're not blocked. Now the cool effect on this I didn't intend to do was this stuff all trips out in color, and it's kind of interesting. When I fly it, it's not ready to be flown yet. I barely got it out here because it still needs a lot of components. I still have to add and then balance it. So we're going over to wrecking real quick here. So we're going to ignore this bad idea. This is the Alteran I was talking about, by the way. Apparently this made me a lot of fans for building. Okay, so this is my duct tape and wishes ship. I just call her Wrecker 1. We're going to use this real quick. I believe there's fuel in it. Yeah, there's plenty. Excuse me. Andromeda is another good one, or a good example. Okay, so as you can see, I've got like my two different things here. So we're going to do the wrecking system real quick, and I'm going to show you guys an example of only one wreck. But I'm going to show you how to use the wrecking system to your advantage. Also, how to cooperate with others and why sometimes it can really help you get really good stuff. So, and it's not guaranteed, right? Like each wreck is sort of it's a dice roll. So it's kind of adds a bit of lottery aspect to the game that I do actually really like. So here we go. So I'm going to go to my map. I'm on Jago, as I said. So if I go over here to points of interest, and then I go down and I select distance low to high, this shows me all of the wrecks that are around me. So I'm going to pick this 519 because it's not that far away. I'm going to copy the coordinates to clipboard because I am using Arch HUD, which makes it a little more convenient for me to do this. I'm building my own HUD, like I said, but if I tried to use it right now, I'm not sure what my ship would actually do, and that would be sadly tragic. So I'm going to let this thing boost super quickly, and we'll get to this wreck. So when I pinpointed that wreck, it's still available in the verse, right? And that wreck has a chance to be literally anything from an XS to an L core. The chances for an XS core are very high, but the XS cores can also have things like treasure maps, maybe some plasma, so they're worth stepping on real quick and looking inside the container at the bare minimum. Now the voxels on these wrecks can also be things like titanium, sulfur. I found an entire one built out of wax brick for some reason, and I'd never used wax brick voxels, so I took them all, just so I had a set so I could play with them, right? So there's a couple different benefits and a couple different very good reasons for doing this. Now there's a couple different theories behind wrecking, and one of them is you saw Leniver's ship, if you were there at the beginning of the screen, with the XL core that had a massive landing pad on top of it. That means that he can take you have to take cores, right, Lenny?
Yes, I'm taking core with me.
Yeah, you
like
take cores.
Like 5 of each.
Okay, so he takes the method where you take cores, you put the core inside the damaged ship to claim it, and then you just maneuver it quickly on top of your ship and keep flying around. The method I use at the moment is just to fly to my wreck. I'll get there, I'll strip it, whatever's there, maybe grab the parts off of it. You don't have to take everything. It's not really required that you really pick anything up. Like, technically, as long as you physically in-game stand on that wreck, if your goal is to get new ones to spawn, as an example, if your goal is to get this to go away, because we'll say it's a death ball, or what commonly is referred to as a death ball from all my buddies and friends, and it's basically just this XS core that's for PvP, and it's got a container hub. There's usually nothing in the stupid thing, and it's a death ball, but it's part of the lottery draw, right? Sometimes you get a dud, and you want that to go away so a new ship has a chance to spawn in this list. Most planets, or all planets, as points of interest, have 10 wrecks around them, right, Lenny?
Yes.
They have the potential
have,
for 10 wrecks,
yes,
depending
exactly.
on timing of respawning. So, like, if no one's hunting near Jago, as an example, right now, you don't really see any. You see the 10 wrecks. So we've got 5 here, right? So 10. So no one's really hunting around here at the moment. But this allows for you to erase this wreck, and about 10 minutes later, 3 minutes later, depending on when the server does it, a new one will spawn in this list. And for every new one here, it just increases your possibility, simply by default, of the amount of wrecks you've spawned, of what could be there. Now I do need to change some settings real quick because I was fiddling with stuff. So prevent PvP and show abandoned. Where is that? Abandoned radar. There we go. Now all wrecks are considered abandoned, and if you're using Archhut as an example and you leave the prevent PvP on, sadly, if you're slow boating especially, you will waste a bunch of fuel because your ship's going to come to a stop right before the freaking PvP barrier. I did that the other day when I was trying to slow boat to Ion. It was very dumb. So I'm going to slow the ship down now to about 25,000 so I can just kind of coast through here. If your radar is set up and everything's working, the wreck is going to appear for me in the right hand of the screen. And there's a reason I'm showing you all this. So this is more informative for you. And now you can have up to 3 players technically around one planet and still have enough wrecks for everyone to do. Once you hit about 4, you start eating the wrecks so quickly that this becomes not a thing, and I slowed the ship down too much. So this was built on the idea that people trying to beat me to a wreck, good luck, is what this ship is, because I encountered that issue early on. Because you're going to have different types of people playing the game. Some people are going to use the mechanics to their own advantage, period. Some people are going to be willing to cooperate. Others are just going to ignore you and do whatever they've decided to do for wrecking in the first place, right? Like, that's how it works. So that them's the straws, right? Like, that's the circumstances you're operating under. So when this wreck appears, we will go to it, and I won't step on it, and I'll show you the different methods that occur or make it disappear. Because if you just float up next to a wreck, say you're underneath of it, and you don't actually board the wreck or anything, and you just get into the containers and take all the stuff out of the containers, that wreck is still on the list. It's still there. It's not despawning. In order for a new wreck to spawn, you need to delete that old wreck somehow. So I got kind of lucky on this one. Here's an S-core. I'm going to hit V. Maybe actually, you know what? Let's just do it this way. V, there it is down there. So I can identify it. I think I'm familiar with this wreck. But I'm going to go down here. Now, just because I'm in the area, just because I've identified it, doesn't mean squat. If I go to my map, this wreck is still here. That is 519, 519. Has not disappeared. That means if your goal is to find good wrecks, and you just skip this, you're not helping yourself, right? Like, I think that's something I can say, right, Lenny? Because you're trying to get good wrecks to spawn by simple law of averages. So the more wrecks you cause to spawn, the better your time is going to be for wrecking in general. So in order for this wreck to truly disappear, I need to get up next to it. I need to stand on it. Now, I have noticed sometimes the wreck will disappear if I delete something off of it, like if I go into build mode, but I think that's because it automatically boards you onto the ship. So I'm pretty sure it's not necessarily you have to stand on it. You have to be boarded onto that construct somehow. It has to have registered that you're there.
You, the rule is you have to stand enough longer close to it. So.
Oh, so it's a proximity thing?
Yeah, it's a proximity thing. So you basically you could fly by. But not fly by, but you need to stand. I think it's like 20 seconds nearby.
Oh,
so
okay.
20 seconds nearby is the time to approach the ship and land on it.
What is nearby?
It's like 100 meters or something like that.
Okay, so as long as you're within 100 meters for 20 seconds, theoretically that wreck should disappear.
Yeah, but then if you stay at 100 meters of the wreck, it's better to go and check the inventory of it.
I tried to
And
talk and swallow at the same time. It didn't work.
so yeah,
Ignore me.
one thing with the rec system is there is a quality category. You have four category: basic, uncommon, advanced, and rare. And more you go in category, better the ship is in terms of loot and or components.
Now, basic, uncommon, advanced, and rare do not correlate to like all the. If it's rare, not all the engines are going to be rare. They might just be
You will, yeah,
advanced.
you will have advanced. Yeah, you will not have rare. You could have maybe a few rare small engine or thing like that, but
Okay.
you will never find the XL rare on the ship because it's not meant to replace the industry. So the all the rare element is something you have to craft.
Okay.
Um, but I mean, and so you have those four category. And why I'm saying it's really important to go and check the rec is you are increasing drastically your probability to have a higher quality if you find the treasure map.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter in which type of ship you are finding it.
Now, something important I would like to point out here: the voxels are here. They just haven't loaded yet. This is something I noticed early on. Was sometimes I have to do this. Or sometimes I just literally have to wait, because if I go into build mode, the voxels are here. I'll show you. So like if I go into build mode, there we go. Now the voxels are there, right? But if I go out of build mode, oh, they stayed this time. Sometimes they disappear again, sometimes they stay.
Yeah,
Part of the loading.
that might be due to the server restart.
Yeah, so like, and
This
then
ship might, yeah.
now I can go through and see like engines, what's all on here, right? All that kind of stuff. Now, since I went into build mode on this, and I was here for 20 seconds, you can see 519 is no longer part of this. Now you can also see, if I get up close enough to this, come on. Where's the, need the info. It's a build.
Yeah, I think
Oh.
you need to have the repair tool or something like that.
Because it shows, I'm not able to go into build mode. What's going on? Is it lagging? Might be lagging. But when I go into build mode, a lot of times, yeah, this is lagging like crazy at the moment. I've noticed this the past few days out by Jago, by the way. It doesn't want to cooperate. There we go. Now I'm in build mode. And sometimes you'll see a little timer that starts counting down, like decays in 3 hours, right? I've noticed that before. So like another feature you can use for disassembling a wreck quickly is I can pull out my select voxel tool, create a big old box, and then notice how I don't have all this selected, but if I hold control, I scroll the wheel up, this creates a much bigger box. Now I can press Control X, and all the voxels are now out of my way. Apparently I'm not in the right inventory, because I'm a genius. Wrecker, there we go. I do love that part. That is super awesome. Let me do that again here. Showmanship. Terrible showmanship. Bad. Bad amp. There we go. Now, this also helps you take apart large wrecks. Now, I have noticed with large wrecks, it's better to disassemble them in about 4 chunks instead of doing that all at once, because it screws up a lot. Now, in here, I literally can have a wide range of items. Everything from a treasure map to warp cells to, as you can see, like we use Natron because we get it out here a lot. On these wrecks, we use Natron as our fuel. So like I can grab all this now, pull all this in here, blah, blah, blah. And now I can just disassemble this wreck. And a couple of the items that I thought were really cool was the ability to say, I want the parts out of, I don't know, this large engine, right? If I pull out my deploy element tool, hold Alt, now I can just tap X while holding Alt, and I can literally just pick anything up.
as long as there's nothing in the inventory. So like if I try to do this to these as an example, these haven't been emptied. So they're going to throw up an error. You must empty the container before moving. The core, of course, you can't pick up. You have to do that outside of that. So now I can just do this real quick and quickly, very, very quickly, delete the whole rec. Now you should check things like container hubs. This only has one container, so I don't have to do that. But if it has multiple containers, you don't actually know which one the treasure map's going to be in. And it doesn't always throw up an error saying, hey, you have to empty this container. Sometimes it will delete it. I don't know the why of it, I just know that it will. So I got into the habit that if I see a container hub, I'm going into the container hub. Because I found that if I save my treasure maps until I get about like 10, odds are I'm going to run into a large core. Like yesterday I got a medium anti-grav that only had 1 damage on it. I got all the parts out of it. I found this, I kept finding a treasure map within a treasure map ship, and it led me by sequence, which I'll have Lenny explain how that works in a second, but it led me in a sequence to a large core with really good stuff on it. But it was a private rec because it was treasure maps. It was only for the person who has the treasure map. It doesn't pop up on the window, on this window here as an example, where there's only 9 recs now because I removed that. It doesn't pop up in this window. The treasure map is only visible to the person, or sorry, the map itself and the point of the map where you need to go is only visible to the person with the map. Excuse me. Lenny, would you mind explaining that part
Yeah.
while I finish disassembly?
Yeah. So treasure map are like a small bonus. That's so if you find a treasure map on the S core, like basic S core, like this one, it will necessarily be a higher core size, so M or L from the same category, or category upper category, like uncommon. And so that's why I was saying treasure map are really important, because they guarantee you to have a better rec than the one you have found, which will increase your quality. And also you have higher chance to find a treasure map into a treasure, which lead to this what you were explaining, where you can have a list of treasure map, one after one another, and if you're lucky you can go, I think some people have gotten 4 of them in a row, and at the end you have a really good one, and you have this is a nice day, right?
Yeah.
And this is cool when it's happening.
So as you can see here, I've got multiple types of these. I've got uncommon, 2 uncommons, and 1 basic. Now, yesterday, my uncommon is what led me to the large. I think that was considered a large rare because I was still able to repair the AGG.
Yeah, rare or advanced, yeah.
Yeah, no, it was a rare because it led me to a rare large core. The map,
No,
because
yeah,
I found a map within a map within a map. So I think I got like a 3-stroke, but the last one turned out to be a large rare because the map itself was rare. So these treasure maps that you pick up, as an example, like I said, I like to pick up multiple of these. And quick advice, if I'm going to go to this one, there's no color difference here, and there's no name difference. So what I do to make sure that I'm not, because I've definitely gone to the same rec, I had to go check 5 recs to make sure that those treasure maps were done. I pull this into my own special inventory, because I'm a special boy, my mama cried. Inspect. Now I can set from here, so when I get to this rec, right, wherever it's going to be, I can delete just this map without worrying that it's a rec I've already been to. Does that make sense? That is something I do now, because otherwise I'm just not smart enough to remember which map I was on.
Yeah, I'm deleting them when I got the treasure, I delete the treasure map.
Yeah, I'm talking about like while you're getting to it though. Like I'll get to the spot and I'll forget because like there's no differentiation between the treasure maps in these part here. So like unless if I've gone into my inventory like here, right, and I've selected something, or I've gone into this inventory and checked out something else, this icon pops off. or if I get lagged out of the game, I no longer have this map selected, and I may not
True.
notice. So what I've taken to doing is using my nano pack is, hey, this is the treasure you're on. Delete this when you get there, find what you're after before you pull a new one in here to do that one. I started doing it that way because it just made more sense. Now the other variation of treasure hunting is one we were talking about with Leniver, and that was using, you bring like 5 of every kind of core, right? Because you don't know what you're going to find. So you get the cores back, obviously, because they're fully repaired cores at that point, so no damage to the core. But you get the cores back, you go out, for this one you would need the small core. So you put your small core into the damaged core to repair it and claim the ship. Now instead of having to take the time I took here to unpack it and disassemble it, you can just park it real quick on top of your ship, go into your map, and you can literally cycle through tons of different wrecks, if this makes sense. And then once you've run out of cores to use, you can go around to your deck, disassemble everything all at once, and then go back and keep doing it. So it's like a system at that point. And again, this allows you to cycle these points of interest because, as you just saw, I found a small. Yesterday I found a large with a repairable AGG. But the point is, if you don't make these disappear, the odds that you're going to find something good are much, much lower. If that makes sense. So, and you don't know if you're going to miss something like these treasure maps, which obviously work. They led me to something super nice. I found a lot of these treasure maps are in the XS cores for me. Just on a personal level. Like, a lot of them that I find happen to be in some random container on an XS core or in a container hub, all by itself. So like the death ball as an example will have that in there. But if I don't delete the stupid death ball, it's just going to stay there, right? If I don't stand near it, get close to it, whatever, it's just going to be a useless wreck that's taking up a spot that another wreck could take that would have a higher rate of items on it or rarity. So that's my show and tell for here. I'm going to fly back to my base real quick so I can show you guys something else I might be, or that I'm not might be, I am actually working on. Lenny, did you, while I'm flying there, do you have anything else you want to go over? Maybe
think,
some more changes or...
well, I think we could like do maybe another stream with like other change, like going through other change, and maybe we will have new one. There is some
Okay.
plan of adding some NPCs in the game, and so that's like the feature we want to add, NPC to.
Could you do a light reveal on it now? Not like super in depth. Save that for next time.
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
Okay.
And so yeah, so we'll have a few yeah, new stuff will come on the server for sure. And so yeah, we could do another stream and explaining maybe a few other features that are maybe a little bit hidden because they are like embedded, like all the deployments of blueprint and things like that has been completely reworked.
Okay.
And thing like that.
What
like,
about, you were talking earlier about elements that you don't see get used that much. Do you want that to be in this stream or the next one?
maybe we can do that on the next one then, so I can like prepare a little bit more about like maybe do a showcase.
Okay, like actually have the elements there. Alright. So yeah, I'm
And
gonna fly
yeah,
back to my base here real quick. It shouldn't take but a few minutes here. I've just gotta fly over here. And I will show you guys something else I'm working on that will be extremely helpful, I think. If you understand Lua, this will be for all the Lua people out there. Because I don't understand Lua, and I got very frustrated when I was trying to learn the Lua for DU. That was maddening. And it's very stupid. Like, even I could tell. It was like I could tell, even though I didn't know that much, that this was a highly convoluted process that didn't need to be convoluted. if that makes sense. Itchy nose. There we go. So also, what do you guys think? So, you guys got any questions for Lenny while he's here and I'm traveling? Did you like do you want to see more of this, that kind of thing? What are we thinking? Now I have to wait for people to type or to see if we do have any additions. Just enjoying yourself, Poet? You did seem to have a lot of fun today. Dim greens are hype. Oh, yeah, those greens are pretty good. I was taking a minute to read all the chat here. So yeah, if any of you have any questions while we're still working on stuff, don't tell me you're writing a compiler for DU. I am right now. Sort of. What I'm doing is I'm going much deeper than a compiler. I'm trying to analyze everything. I'm using the AI assistant, and I finally got her to allow me to change her updated memory on it so she can do the Lua and I can do, hey, I want this. But I'm giving her access to every... Oh, thank you, Val. This has been frustrating because there's a bunch of elements and a bunch of stuff, and the coding for DU, or my DU, is actually different than beta, even though this is technically based on beta or alpha, depending. I think it's based on beta. And the my official DU server that went down a little while ago, went down like a few months ago, this is actually different. It's it's got a different Lua environment somehow. And it's very frustrating for a concept because it's just a very irritating object. I don't know why they designed this way. It was very stupid. But tool calls for DU Lua. Yeah, it can. I'm just piping ideas like intercore items, channels and stuff. That could be interesting. One of the coolest things I would like to see done to a core, and this is just an hypothetical idea because I'm pretty sure it's going to be something that would be held to do or implement, would be instead of having a box, which is literally one of the dumbest shapes I've ever been handed for a dynamic construct, especially if it's supposed to fly. That part always confused me. But instead of that, give me the volume or access to the volume. I need to turn that off so I can see where I'm going so I don't hit my own station. I've done it twice now. But give me the volume and then give me an XYZ where I can extend the XYZ into any length depending or up to a specific volume point. Most games have something like this, some form of volume control depending on what you're using. And for some reason we don't. And I always thought that was a little odd because it wasn't very beneficial. And we can demand decahedron it. Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. I think Lenny would probably not want to code that. That would be hell. What do you think, Lenny, of my core idea?
I mean, this is something I have already researched.
Is it even a possibility?
I mean, the issue is the way how the core are stored in the database. So it's they are like storing the bounding of the core is stored not necessarily as a bounding box. It's stored as a core size, which prevents doing dynamic shape or special shape.
Okay.
But maybe like this is something like I could maybe like dig a little bit more to see if we can achieve.
Yeah, I just thought it would be cool because then instead of being like this could have been a different length, and it would have worked a little better for me, but I was limited because I'm actually only using a tiny parcel of the space available in an L core to build this ship. Which meant it could have been a lot longer, but I can't make it longer. It's near the edges of the freaking core. So this is my little personal Lua environment as an example here. Now, what I'm doing is I'm running Lua probes into all of these. And this is something you can actually do yourself as well, but I'm running Lua probes into pretty much every component in the game that Lua can access. Just to get not a compiler, but an interactive compiler, if that makes sense. Like a deeper dive on Lua and how it works in the game, because when I look at examples of other scripts, I see a lot of what I would call redundancy. And it's very frustrating because that means that your script is actually longer than it needs to be. And we all know that when the script is longer than it needs to be, sometimes you have to load it as a custom folder, as an example, instead of something you can just put on a programming board, right? Because there's a limit.
We have increased the limit.
Yeah, but even then, you still run into issues depending on how complicated you want it to be. The limit increase is nice. It very much is nice, but I see a lot of inefficiency in the code itself and how it's utilized. So what I'm working on right now is a deep dive interactive compiler that basically allows you to go, okay, when I use this part in here, I need to know exactly what sorry, again, I'm not a Lua person in any truest sense of the word, but what pieces go with this component and which ones will break it, right? So like good, bad, neutral, if that makes sense. So that's kind of what I'm doing right now, because I've noticed a lot of inconsistency. There's also a lot of what I would call neutral code. I'm not sure if that's the right terminology among coders, but it's like neutral coding. It doesn't even need to be there. Like it serves little to no purpose at all. So what I'm writing is a system to make loading scripts from disk easier during development. When ready, embed that into the JSON to be loaded via the in-game menu. Also added events so you can hook up events to code similar to DU Lua C, but with a different approach. I will pretend I understood half of that. Again, I am not a coder. That's why I was teaching ChatGPT. I literally gave her all the freaking folders. Speaking of which, if anyone has the original DU Lua folder, I would love to have that folder as like a zip file or something that I can hand her and be like, here, look at this. Because I'm trying to give her the differences between my DU and Dual Universe and Beta, and then other codes that have worked throughout the time to see what's changed, why it changed maybe, and how it works. So like an updated version of how the Lua actually compiles and works together. That makes sense? Leniver?
Yeah. I mean, for about the fact of loading scripts while coding, I have made a video like 2 years ago about how to do that. You can refresh your library. Yeah, I mean you can code everything outside the game and still refresh everything without having to reload all the code in your programming board.
Where's this video at? Do you have a link to it?
It's on my YouTube channel.
Put your YouTube channel in my give it to me real quick and I'll input it into my chat window. I don't think you can as an individual type.
Yeah, I mean there's like not much video on it, but yeah.
Hey man, a view is a view. If you give me a link to it though, I will input that link channel into my chat so people can see it in the video.
And so yeah, it was done with DU Luac. But yeah.
Okay.
And there is a video that show how to set up all Visual Studio Code with,
They
but
did
it's
just get
old
hot and
one.
nerdy in here.
I might have to like redo it.
Alright, so let me open this real quick so I can just pull the URL directly. Copy. There we go, and I
It's even
should be able
older.
to
It's like
paste it. There you go.
3 years ago.
Hey man, like that's one of the most difficult things about DU in the first place. Like I did a bunch of videos on DU and trying to help with building and a balance and a few other different things, but the fact is DU, and this is the sad part about DU, is it's not really a widespread game. Not yet. My DU has the potential to widespread it. So widespread meaning when I say World of Warcraft, even people who don't game usually know what I'm talking about. But when I say DU or my DU or Dual Universe, most people who've never played a video game are going to look at me like, what is that, right? It's like mentioning, I don't know, Pythagorean's theory, right? Like you're gonna get a blank look. And even among normal gamers who play things like regular Arc, stuff like that, a lot of them have no idea what DU even is. So when it comes to getting resources for in-game, it's not like having resources for, say, something like Minecraft coding, if you're using the JavaScript as an example. The resources aren't everywhere. So any resources you can compile and put into a shelf somewhere are beneficial to pretty much everyone who ever joins and plays in the server. That creates an environment where everyone can be more informed and have more resources to pull from. That makes sense?
You're right.
Yeah.
You're totally right.
So, yeah, that's
that's the goal of the video
esoteric.
I did, and that's also why I did a video about how to like set up the modding in environment.
Okay.
So people could at least they could already like have a little clue on how to set up that.
Okay. All right. Well, what'd you guys think? I know I got a couple. This has been great from Val. People enjoyed themselves, so we will try this again. I'm thinking right now. I think we said what, bi-weekly or something.
Yeah, we can do that.
Like every 2 weeks or something.
I think that will be a good a good schedule.
A good goal. All right.
Yeah.
So did this time work for most of everybody who was on here, or is there a better time? I know this worked for me and Lenny because Lenny you have children, right? That sleep.
Yeah, and yeah, I mean we can make it.
I don't want to give your life story. I just
Yeah, but we can do it a little bit later. But yeah, for me, like, yeah, I'm working all the day and I have like the evening to do my stuff, right?
Yeah. Like I'm retired, I can do pretty much any time I want to, but I want to make sure that if I'm doing this and it's for the benefit of the server, then to place it in the right method or right time. Because I'm very flexible, but not everyone else is going to be. So acknowledging that and putting it to timing is perfect, says Or Mountain Coder. And we did have quite a few people for DU anyway, and for the viewers, and I will be uploading this into YouTube under my Atlas channel as well. I will link that before I close the stream here. Actually, let me go into YouTube because I try to paste my videos between different things on my streamer journey here. I was trying to become a professional streamer there for a while. That did not end up as a thing, by the way. So right now I just use the streaming as kind of a, hey, look at this stuff, right? That's kind of what I use it for now. I don't really do much else with it. So let me see if I can find, how do I link my YouTube? I don't remember how that works. At Atlas.
Sadly, I cannot help you on that.
No, you're good. So I would suggest various times. Okay, so if we want various times, now I do have to sleep, but if this is a time when I normally sleep, I know we have several other streamers here. So I'm just gonna write this real quick. Atlas of M. Weekends are peak for Mini. Okay, that is actually a good point. But Lenny's probably, you're also coding a lot on the weekends, aren't you?
I'm coding all the time, yes.
Okay, yeah, that's probably fair. But you kind of enjoy this stuff for some reason. It's like a little mutant who enjoys coding. Sorry,
I'm a
that's
little
a
bit weird.
personal. That's a personal perspective. Most people say the same thing when they see me building shit. I'll be like, okay, that's what I enjoy. It's like enjoying a hot dog versus a hamburger. But yeah, we could get in touch with the other streamers. Maybe post a few different viewpoints. The real problem is going to be access to someone who does the coding or works on the server. So I don't enjoy coding. That's who. That is very, very wrong to me. But I'll get there. Anyways. So, Lenny, right now, you're the only one that I know of that I could pull in here. Because I think Raven's working a lot. And
Yeah, Raven is working a lot.
I know you've mentioned Bear several times. Is that a person who could join a possible another streamer?
I don't know if he's
At a different
like,
time?
yeah, I don't know if he's like joining.
Okay. This is mainly just to get someone that who knows more about the server, knows more about what's going on in the background, and can answer questions without promising something that's not going to exist or is very, very much just a potential right now. You know what I mean? But like to go over the changes of the server in detail. I know Val could probably do some of it. And you are right, Val. The better question is when he does stop coding. I think probably family time. That might be it.
Yeah.
Because I know your work involves coding, right? Or some
Yeah,
variation of it.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I'm coding for work and I'm coding outside work.
Yeah. Maybe figure it out offline and post it in the server announcements. Yeah, we could do that. So I'll link the video from today into the Discord once I have it all compiled. I'll link it into the Discord, and if you guys liked it, each time we do this, then I'll go ahead and do that. So if you want to watch something, you can. And there is a possibility in the future, quick last little reveal note here, of doing ship shows once I have the city done. Because I have to compile, I have to basically get a bunch of titanium, cobalt, copper, and some other stuff together to build on 40XL cores with to build the city. But when I'm done, I am thinking about hosting ship shows and things on Jago, on my Atlantis-like structure, because I think it would be very, very cool. So
cool.
I am thinking about doing that. I would suggest also making a recap vid of the highlights. I'm actually going to try, there's a highlights function in Steam or in Twitch when I do the video together. I'm going to try to see if I can highlight it before I send it over to YouTube and then post it on the Discord channel. Because I can put in there like, okay, this part talks about wrecking, this part talks about potential changes, this part talks about stuff that's already in, right? Just basic areas. Not very good at this. But if someone wants to take my video and cut it up into a bunch of pieces, I'm okay with that too. Right? Like, I don't care.
That would be cool. Yeah,
I really don't care. But yeah.
Like being like some short video.
Yeah. So thanks guys for watching. We appreciate you.
Thanks a lot for having me.
Yeah, no, we appreciate it, man. I know we all give you shit, but like, cool game so far, right? Like, good job.
I mean, I'm trying. Like I said, my first goal is like to make the game better because I like the game first, and having people enjoying the change I'm doing on the server, like it's rewarding for me. Like it's
like cooking someone a good meal.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's exactly that.
Well, thanks guys. We'll be up again probably next week on Tuesday. We might visit some weekend times. We'll discuss that off stream. But
we'll see you guys next time. So thanks for watching, and I really appreciate it. And if you guys have questions next time, save them up, and we'll try to hit them all. You guys have an
Thank you.
awesome time. Thanks.
See you, everyone.